Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
A dog attack may be responsible for the child's death. I'm Chris Davis. The mayor of California City says the 12-year-old boy who was found unresponsive in a pond on Heather Avenue last Thursday was attacked by two unleashed dogs. Mayor Marquette Hawkins tells Bakersfield Now that the child was attacked near the golf course at Central Park and that there are no dogs allowed signs there. The child was taken to Adventist Health Tehachapi, where he died about 3 Friday morning. The person who was on a bicycle when they were hit by a woman Bakersfield police say was driving drunk Saturday morning died Monday afternoon, say police. The driver, 35-year-old Tamara Elsie Popoy, is now charged with gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. The wreck happened at the intersection of Stockdale Highway and Callaway Drive about 1 Saturday morning. Police say Popoy ran a red light and hit the person, then took off, but was later found and arrested. The name of the person on the bicycle has not been made public. The identity of a woman whose body was pulled out of a canal on Truxton Avenue has not yet been made public. Bakersfield police and firefighters say they got a report about the body just before 11:30 Monday morning and pulled it out of the canal. Police have not publicly discussed the circumstances surrounding her being in the canal, but they say that no foul play is suspected. Some of the remaining bodies buried in the Bell Terrace area in previously unmarked graves and in a scattered fashion of Chinese pioneers were reburied Monday with a proper and traditional Chinese burial service that leaders in the Chinese community say shows proper respect for the people who settled this area. The burial was at Union Cemetery, the same place where that happened before back in the 1950s, reports KGET. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
To the rest well in a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, however you may be viewing for those subscribing on YouTube. This is the Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230. We're streaming live at kernradio.com, broadcasting live on YouTube. Chris Burdick is producing the show on this 23rd day of June. We got a busy show. We got a lot of guests. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're off to Brooklyn Heights, New York, where our vacationing judge, Teresa Golden, will talk with us at the bottom of the hour. It's a Tuesday, so our former federal agent Howard Marcus will join us at 4 o'clock. And coming up at 5, I would suggest you tune into this. Local restaurateur, planning commissioner, and overall good egg, Cassie Bittle, is coming on the broadcast. And for the record, and I'm lying, but for the record, so I don't get it wrong again, I have no idea why she's coming on the show. No idea. She may be saying something. She may be pumping up a restaurant. She may be making an announcement. But for the record, I have no idea. That's right. I don't get it wrong twice. That's right, Jack. And I could say a whole lot more, but I shan't. Because in my old age, I've learned some editorial.
Just dropping off a steak. Nothing wrong with that.
I hope so. I hope she brings a little grub. I might head in there tonight, as a matter of fact. Why not? Why not? Where would you rather be? I put my thermostat on 82. because I walked into the house last night. It was 85 degrees. And it was just uncomfortable for the first 10 minutes. Yeah. And I think people are right. Because when it's 85 and then I put it on 78, it pours for like a half an hour,
right?
45 minutes before it gets to 78.
Right.
And I think, and I've been told this all my life, but I never believed it, I think it's better just to let it get hot at 82. And then when it kicks on 82, it just keeps it at that level and it's cooler, obviously, than it is at 85. And I'm not spending as much money, I don't think, you know?
I've always questioned that
I have too.
But it does make sense.
It does. Because the thing because after about 10 minutes, because it's on 85 when I walk in the door. So I put it on 78. And for the first 10 minutes, it's great.
Yeah.
But then it continues, it takes about a half an hour for a house to get, or my little 2-bedroom apartment to get down 7 degrees. And within 20 minutes, you're like, okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's what I need. I got to get a fan.
See, I'm just one of those people. I won't turn it on until it hits about like uncomfortable, like in the like 87-ish
Now that's
area.
Crazy. How is that? That's your line.
No, I swear.
Because when I fell asleep last night with it on at 80 and woke up with sweat on my forehead.
Yeah, and then around like 9 o'clock when it gets dark outside, I'll turn it on for like an hour and comes right back down. I go to bed.
But see, that's what we talked about this last week. My apartment gets hotter later in the evening.
Yeah,
it is warmer at 1 o'clock in the morning than it is at 8 o'clock at night. And I don't get that. At what point do we start to descend back into the morning temps? I don't get it. But that's about 8 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Apologize. We do have a busy show. Not only do we have our guest, but we'll talk about the reflecting pool nonsense. I'm sorry. Your boy is a liar. He is, and you know it. Come on. Somebody jumped in the reflecting pool with a box cutter and cut a 300-foot hole in the reflecting pool. Is there really one of you that believes that story? Is there one of you? Did I send you the 2 Trump audios? It's one piece of audio, but it's Trump back then and it's Trump now.
From TMZ?
I don't know. Either I have it or I sent it to you because I circled the Trump, but I don't know. What was the one I sent to you?
It was something from TMZ. I have to re-listen to it real quick.
But was it a dual thing? Okay, well, I've got some audio that I'll play for you in just a second, but I just think that's funny. We'll get into that. Savannah Guthrie had a tough show today. As some of you probably know, the story has changed, where they're now releasing the fact that the February ransom note basically said your mother's dead, and it's the audio. I didn't get the audio. I didn't want to get the audio of her responding to that, where she acknowledges. She says, "We got your note and we understand," but they still want closure, and so she had to address it. They had to do a story on it on the Today Show today, and good for her for not calling in sick. And they got a response from her. She couldn't really respond because she doesn't want to be part of the story. It's one of the things you absolutely try to avoid as a reporter. You never want to be part of the story, even if it's about your family. And she just said, "I don't want to comment, but I just want to thank everybody, blah, blah, blah." And we'll play that for you. Joy Reid has lost her mind again. She insists. Have you heard this?
Wondering, but
Joy Reid? She insists, she wants some podcast as a guest and insists that the black people that she knows aren't celebrating July 4th because July 4th is merely a celebration of slavery and white superiority. I'm not making that up. She actually said that. I'll play the audio for you. And she's also saying that she will not vote for Democrats who back Israel. This woman has lost her mind. This is just a week ago. We played you the audio of her saying that she got fired because she supported Gaza and talked about all the people that have been run out of the business and it's all Trump's fault. Stephen Colbert, Trump's fault. Jimmy Kimmel, Trump's fault. But the people rose up. She literally said that. The people rose up and put Jimmy Kimmel back on television. Are you stupid? Like, you were at the height of television, national and you don't even understand how it works. You really think Jimmy Kimmel got back on the air because people sent cards and letters and phone calls to ABC? This woman has lost her ever-loving mind. And to think that she had a show, an eponymous show on CNN, or was it MSNBC, on some national television station. Done lost her mind. And, this big news, and I bet this happened after your show. You didn't get to talk about it. But the NFL has canceled the supplemental draft.
Thank God.
Yeah, I think it's karma like a son of a gun. Which means that Brendan Sorsby, did I get it right this time? Brendan Sorsby is SOL. Because I don't think he can go back to Texas Tech.
No, I believe it. As soon as you apply for the supplemental, you are no longer allowed to play college.
You're done. You're through.
Not that the Big 12 would have allowed him to come back.
Exactly.
Anyway.
The Big 12 is like, thank you, Jesus. And the Big 12 attorneys are like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
We're looking at a big payday.
Damn. But the Big 12 is like, thank you, Jesus. We don't have to litigate this kid. And now he's got to sit on his ass for a year and wait for the 27 draft.
Yeah, best he can do, really.
I love it. Karma is a big, fat B. And if you don't know this kid's story, why am I back on this kid? While he was at Indiana, you were right. It was long before. I looked
it up. A year or something.
No, it was like 3 years. He was like there in 22, and what's his name didn't get there to like 25.
Yeah. Now his younger brother, I believe, was there though.
Mendoza's?
Other Mendoza was there.
Well,
they brushed shoulders in and out, but
bet 9,000 times, 90 grand, even on his own team. He's the Pete Rose. He's worse than Pete Rose. He's worse than Pete Rose in some ways. And so he gets to sit on his behind for a year. I love that story. And the Dodgers got a big win last night. Tyler Scott came in the ninth and saved the 1-run ball game for us. Shohei Ohtani led the ball game off with a home run. And Caitlin Clark is becoming, her stock has dropped dramatically for a number of reasons. She's become the biggest crybaby in the WNBA. She's the Luka Doncic of the NBA. She's just all this. I mean, she's worse than Angel Reese. She really is. And in fact, and I don't even know how I stumbled into this. I listened to Jason Garrett. Jason
Witten?
Jason Lee.
Jason Worth.
Jason Kelsey.
Dang it.
Nice. Who am I talking about? Jason Whitlock.
Yeah, Whitlock.
I finally listened to that fat ass who I once played craps with at the MGM. I sure did. And he's a gambleaholic because he lost his money and he signed something to get another $5,000. Dude's got a problem.
Well, it's the same thing as other athletes when it's like the competition thing for them.
I don't know. This is 100 years ago, granted, but Whitlock was pointing out that in an Atlanta-Indiana game, Angel Reese was the more mature. She was acting, and it's just getting her act. Caitlin Clark's act is getting old. You see her; she got into an argument with a coach. You lose me when you talk back to your coach on a bench. Like, people don't understand. If you've ever played sports, a lot of things happen in a locker room that people don't know about. Arguments with the head coach, even on a high school level. Players get into it with their coaches. Coaches get into it with their players. But you never, ever do that on a field or on a court or on a diamond. You don't let people see what goes on with your ball club, even on a high school level. And this girl was screaming at her coach and walking away, doing LeBron, walking away from the meeting or the huddle. Thank you. Huddle at the side of the bench. And no, she's lost me. And she's not even that great a player anymore. She really isn't. I mean, when she first came in, everybody, best player. Not anymore. Paige, there are 3 or 4 players that I think are better players than she is. I really do. And Angel Reese's numbers, as much as she brings, and I love when she shoots a 3, better be gone! But she's got good numbers. And she leads the league in rebounds. Okay, yes, they're mostly hers.
About 60% of them.
I almost sent you and Randy a new one, but I didn't do it. Because it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock last night. There's a new one where the guys walk you through it and where she airballed a layup again. It's just incredible. All right, let's get going. We got to get started. It's a busy show on this Tuesday. Come back Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance are taking different routes on talking about the MOU and the tentative agreement and the 60-day ceasefire, where it seems to me they both have their eye on something else. I wonder what that could be. You will hear from Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance and from the president. Teresa Golden at the bottom of the hour, Howard Marcus at 4. Tell you the Savannah Guthrie story. And Tiger has made his first public appearance since coming out of Switzerland in rehab. And coming up to 5, local restaurateur and planning commissioner Cassie Bittle will be live in studio. I would hang around for that. But in the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1, AM 1230, and we stream live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we will talk a little medicine with our friend Dr. Vip Dev. Stephen doesn't like him, but I think he's really great. We will talk the news quiz with John Cox from the Californian, and we'll back all that up with state-of-the-art news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Carpet Outlet Plus installed over 1 million square feet of flooring last year alone. Over 20 years of Bakersfield's best flooring store means you can trust us with your hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and of course, carpet. Come in today to see over 100 waterproof floors from our in-stock inventory. It's probably been time to change your floors for a while, so call, click, or stop by today. Your free in-home estimate is waiting for you. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
I'm here with Dr. Tarkesh from Affordable Dentures and Implants. Doc, how does digital dentistry improve the process of getting dental work done?
Digital dentistry is a cutting-edge technology that creates a highly accurate 3D scan of your mouth. It helps make a more precise and efficient treatment. For example, with implants, this can allow us to plan procedure down to the smallest detail, which in return speed up the process, reducing the time patients spend in surgery.
And who is a good candidate for the implants?
Almost anyone missing teeth, as long as the patient has enough bone to support the implant or can undergo a bone graft. Implants are a great option. We always do a thorough evaluation to make sure the implants are the best solution for each patient's unique needs.
Get the smile you've always wanted without anxiety at Affordable Dentures and Implants. Dr. Nozar Tarkesh, who specializes in implants with IV sedation. Visit them online at affordabledentures.com. Affordable Dentures and Implants. That's what we do.
Go ahead and smile.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game.
Hear me? So the Trump audio you sent me was him answering the question from the reporter about the slashing of the paint. So I think you probably have the one you're referring to of the two different times. I do, however, have the Phillips one of J.D. Vance and Obama.
Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
You're all I'm living for.
best. You're the best. My everything. I used to listen for football games. I don't know why.
Interesting hype song.
I know. Like, after I got my socks and got taped, I would sit in the trainer's room, turn it, and I would get this as loud as I could in my headphones. And I'd be sitting there. Fowler would be yelling, Bailey! Bailey! And then he'd come, Bailey! Hey, what's up, coach? We're ready to go. Let's go. All right, let's go. I love being an athlete. I really did. God, it was so much fun. Isn't it great being an athlete? I'm telling you, God has a sense of humor. If you only knew how good you had it. Like in 10th grade when I was playing varsity football, and I thought, I got 2 more years of varsity football. I'm going to be a superstar. And then like an idiot, I changed schools and had to sit out my junior year and just upended my whole collegiate career. Now that's funny. So Rubio and Vance are taking 2 different approaches to this. J.D. Vance is the biggest cheerleader. And I suppose what he intends to lean on is the fact that at the beginning of this whole mess, he was against it. I guess that's his back play. Marco Rubio, I don't know if you've noticed this, but he's kind of been like, my name is Bennett, I ain't in it. He was sent off to the United Arab Emirates to try to solidify a relationship with our Gulf Coast states. Those are going to be paying the $300 billion we're about to hand over to the Iranians, who, by the way, are making millions and millions and millions of dollars literally as we speak. And what did we get out of it? I have no idea. Here is Marco Rubio in UAE.
A careful reading of the MOU will see that when you talk about, for example, a complete and end of hostilities in the entire region, well, that's not possible. You can't have the end of hostilities and conflicts in the region as long as Iranian proxies are launching missiles and drones from Iraq and are participating in terrorism like Hamas did and like Hezbollah did.
Do you see what I mean? By 2 different tacks? Like Rubio's being the adult in the room. Look, we can have all the deals in the world. But if Hezbollah continues to attack Israel, there is no deal. Meantime, J.D. Vance is running around, hey, we got a deal. Oh, we built the foundation of the house, and it's going to be 3 stories and have a cellar and basement, and everything's going to be hunky-dory and beautiful and wonderful. And it's just like, no, J.D. Because the reality is, and you're not going to like this, but the JCPOA was better. Yes, I was critical of it because I didn't think it went far enough. But what they established is better than what is on the table right now. Let me give you a little juxtaposition. Here's JD, and then there's another fellow that you might remember.
This is probably what we're most excited about as Americans. The Iranians have agreed to invite IAEA inspectors back into their country. That is a major milestone for the American people and the first step in permanently denuclearizing or permanently ending a nuclear weapons program in Iran.
For decades, inspectors will have access to Iran's entire nuclear supply chain, from the uranium mines and mills where they get raw materials, to the centrifuge production facilities where they make machines to enrich it.
All of it.
And under the terms of the deal, inspectors will have the permanent ability to inspect any suspicious sites in Iran.
Any site in Iraq. That was 2015. So from what you just heard, which deal would you take? The JCPOA or what we got on the board right now? Puts you in a tough spot, doesn't it? Because for the life of you, you cannot say Barack Obama's deal is better. It just can't come out of your mouth. It just can't. It'll never come out of Trump's. As I talked about yesterday, Obama is still cooking scrambled eggs in his kitchen. He is so deep in Trump's head that he tore up, instead of just maneuvering and manipulating a decent deal. I never said it was a horrendous deal, the JCPOA. It just didn't go far enough. But at least we had inspectors and we gave them money. We certainly didn't give them $300 billion. And we didn't give them money from taxpayers' money. It was unfrozen assets. But we're giving them all 3. We're giving them oil money, we're giving them frozen assets, and we're giving them $300 billion. Okay. Meantime, the president was on his way to Pennsylvania this morning. He had some words about this as well. He was on his way to Reading, or is it Reading? Reading? I think it's Reading. Reading, Pennsylvania. Here's the president.
Well, I think anybody that's been critical of it has to be educated, even if they're friends of mine, because we have Iran in a position that nobody's ever had. This should have been done for 47 years by other presidents, and we have Iran in a position where their military has been totally wiped out, their leadership has been wiped out, their radar has been wiped out, everything's been wiped out. They have not a good negotiating position, but despite that, and money that will be taken out of Iran is going to go to our farmers to give corn, soybeans, wheat to Iran because they have a hunger problem, they have a food problem, they have a medicine problem, they got a lot of problems, and they have an inflation. Their inflation now just hit 300%, so they have a lot of problems.
Delusional. Unless you believe that we've got the upper hand in this thing right now, today, right now, as they're selling oil to China, as we've released their assets. Tell me what we got. What do we have? They've got money. They're funneling it to Hezbollah as we speak. They're selling oil to China and Russia. And I'm literally asking you guys to tell me, what did we get? What did the United States receive from the Iranians for all the love that Donald Trump has given them? A guarantee? Inspectors? No. None of that. Regime change? No. Lift of oppression of the people of Iran? No. None of that. And yet their bank coffers are going cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Teresa Goldner joins us next.
With us for news, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Justice Department has announced criminal charges against 455 people as part of a 2-week healthcare fraud crackdown that officials say involved more than $6.5 billion in false claims submitted to insurers. Among those charged is a nurse practitioner accused in Texas of billing Medicare for medically unnecessary wound care procedures and using the proceeds for fancy jewelry and luxury cars. The Trump administration is providing $17.5 billion to speed the development of 10 new large nuclear reactors to meet the skyrocketing power demand from massive data centers. On Wall Street, a rough day as the Dow was down by 45 points. The NASDAQ dropped 575. More details at srnnews.com.
Progressive presents the Museum of Kern Radio. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. The 12-year-old boy who was found unresponsive in a pond Thursday evening on Heather Avenue in Cal City and who died early the next morning was attacked by 2 unleashed dogs near the golf course at Central Park, says Mayor Marquette Hawkins, talking to Bakersfield Now. She says there are no dogs allowed signs at the park. The person who was on a bicycle when they were hit by a woman Bakersfield police say was driving drunk Saturday morning died Monday afternoon, say police. The driver, 35-year-old Tamara Popoy, is now charged with gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. The wreck was at the intersection of Stockdale Highway and Callaway Drive about 1 o'clock that morning. Police say Popoy ran a red light and hit the person, then took off, but was later found and arrested. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries in Kern County. Are you looking for a doctor who truly listens? Someone who cares about your health and respects your time with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations? Well, it may be time to learn about QualCare IPA. QualCare IPA partners with most Medicare Advantage health plans, giving you access to a large, community-based network of outstanding physicians and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Local doctors, trusted hospitals, personalized care. Medicare Advantage plans offer benefits beyond original Medicare, but understanding your options for 2026 can feel overwhelming. That's where we can help. Call 661-554-4544 today to learn more about your Medicare Advantage choices. Our knowledgeable team is ready to help you understand your coverage options and make confident decisions about your care. Again, that's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs at meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. For the Central Valley, that means local service including burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and custom security designed to work with business operations. Bay Alarm has real people rooted in your community looking out for your business. After 8 decades and 3 generations of family ownership, our promise is still the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way.
It's a Tuesday, and our federal magistrate judge is on vacation, but she has nevertheless taken time out of her busy schedule to call in live from, I believe, Brooklyn Heights, New York. Is that where we find you, Judge?
Yes, it is. How are you, Ralph?
I'm outstanding. How are you doing?
You know, I'm doing great. It's really fun being here, I gotta say.
I guess so. Is it?
Do like New York City and Brooklyn.
Cities on the planet.
God, it's just amazing all the incredible things you can do when you're here. It's just wild. This time I took a little detour and we went to Philadelphia. We went down to Virginia. My daughter and I went on a mother to road trip down to Virginia to a place called Middleburg, Virginia. Have you ever heard of that?
I have.
You have?
I
really?
absolutely have.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Well, one of the we went to this. It was a kind of a gardening designer kind of girly sort of trip, and we went to see some different gardens and fancy houses and all that sort of stuff. And one of the people that was there was this interior decorator from South Carolina, from your favorite town in South Carolina.
He's from Beaufort?
He was from Beaufort. Yep.
Really?
He's a designer here in New York, but he lives in Beaufort. He's from Beaufort. He doesn't ever want to move from Beaufort.
Did you ask him if he knew the Baileys?
I did not ask him if he knew the
Why
Baileys.
would you not know that? My family's been living there literally since 1930.
Well, I didn't. It's your personal stuff. I didn't know. I didn't want to impose. I was trying to be polite.
I don't mean to be rude, and my audience is going to say typical Ralph, but Beaufort is still somewhat segregated. Was he white or black?
You know what? He was white, and I think he was gay, and he's lived there
I don't
a
know
long
what that's
time.
got to do with it. Well, then he probably doesn't know
do anything, but you know what I mean. I was like, wow, he really likes Beaufort.
Well, it's a beautiful city, but he probably
That's what he said.
He probably doesn't know my family if he's not black. Beaufort, believe it or not.
Why? Your family only knows black people?
No, but Beaufort is still extremely segregated. To be honest with you.
Is it really?
Yes.
I didn't get that impression. I didn't know that.
Yes,
Wow.
there is a black side of Beaufort where my family lives, and there's then on the other side of I forget what that main street is, but then there's like the colonial homes, and that's the white section of Beaufort. And it's still, there's still, my uncles go to an almost exclusively black church.
Wow.
And it's very, very, it's still the old South.
Well, if you ever, I know you've mentioned sometimes, if you ever retire, you were mentioning maybe going back to Beaufort.
I definitely am. I own property there. The house that my uncles live in is in my name. My grandmother left it to me, and my uncle and I share some property out on Defusky Island.
Oh, it really does sound like a beautiful place. I've got to say, much respect to Beaufort, South Carolina.
How did you know he was gay?
I just did. I guess my gaydar was turned on.
I guess so. Wow. All right.
Anyway,
I'm shocked. I'm shocked you did not bring up my family. Did you at least say you know somebody from Beaufort?
I did. He was, we were with a whole bunch of people, and I didn't want to impose on stuff. I was trying to be polite.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But one of the places that we went to see Bunny Mellon's estate. Have you ever heard of Paul Mellon and Bunny Mellon? There were these very wealthy people.
I've heard of Paul Mellon. I'm not familiar with Bunny.
She was his second wife, and she was really into gardening and all that sort of thing. And they owned a 4,000-acre horse farm in a place called, I think it's Upperville, Virginia. And that's where we went. It's one of the places that we went. Oh my gosh, it's down to 2,000 acres now, but God, it's such beautiful country over there.
Yeah.
I think they called it horse and hunt country. So everywhere we went, there were all these horses and equestrians and, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Virginia is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful state. Commonwealth.
Oh, wow.
I went to jail. I went to jail in the state of Virginia.
Did you really?
I did.
Uh-oh.
I did.
How old were you? Was that young, Ralph?
I was in college. It's not as bad as it sounds. I just wanted to make it sound bad. Jimmy Cobb and I were coming back from Washington, D.C., and we got a speeding ticket in Virginia. And in Virginia, there is no reciprocity, meaning you have to pay the ticket right there. There's some states where if you have because I had a California license. There's some states that has reciprocity where you can they'll bill you, you sign the thing, and if you send them the money, you're okay. But if not, they'll put a bench warrant out for your arrest. Some states don't have that. Texas, I had the same thing happen to me in Texas. I had a speeding ticket in Texas. I had to wait. But anyway, the guy pulled us in. We had to sit on a bench. I called my dad. He wired us the money. We sat there for about 45 minutes, and they let us go. But yeah, we had to follow them. They didn't put us in the car. We followed them to their courthouse. And we sat. They didn't handcuff us. They didn't put us behind bars. And we sat on a bench while I called my dad, and he wired us some money. And you got to pay the ticket right there.
Do you remember how much money you had to pay?
I think it was $125.
Oh, that was a lot of money back then.
Oh, we were flying. The dude, wow. the sheriff with the big round ranger kind of hat, the trooper hat, told us we were lucky we weren't being put in jail for reckless driving because we were really doing about 100, but he clocked us at like 85.
Ooh,
but I was
Bailey.
Yeah, I was doing about 100, 105.
I got a ticket one time going through Arizona, driving back to California from I don't know where. And I didn't know that when you get a ticket, this was in a little town in Arizona, you got to pay it right then and there.
Exactly.
I remember the officer said, "Well, are you going to pay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm happy to. I'll mail it in." And he was like, "No, it doesn't work like that, lady."
Lack of reciprocity. That's exactly what it is. Did you have to go to the jailhouse?
No, he actually took my check.
You just wrote a check right there at the spot?
That was back in the days, I guess, when people wrote checks, which nobody does anymore, of course. Or at least around here, no one writes checks. But
did I not say that? Did I not say that? We were talking about Floyd Mayweather, a very famous boxer, just got in trouble for writing a $200,000 check. And I said the same thing. I said, who writes checks in the 21st century? And of course, Larry, one of our oddball callers, called in and said, I write checks. I was just like, I'm sure you do, Larry. I'm sure you do.
That is really funny. I don't think anybody even takes cash anymore, hardly. At least around here, you got to have your phone. You got to pay with your phone now.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So
that's what I do.
That's how it goes.
My phone wallet.
So have you been to Philadelphia? Have you seen the Liberty Bell?
I love Philadelphia. I'm going back in September to see my good friend Nick Ragone.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
That's where we went. I wanted specifically on our trek down to Virginia. I said, I want to go by Philadelphia because I've never seen the Liberty Bell. I've never seen all that. Went to Betsy Ross's house. I had such a good time. Philadelphia is beautiful.
It is a beautiful city. Beautiful city. I told you my Philadelphia story when Larry Fields got called out by Rocky Balboa, the bartender. When Larry came in, we were sitting up in just the old school bar. We wanted like a dive bar.
Are you talking about Larry Fields, the lawyer?
Yes. I went
Larry.
I went back with Larry. Do you remember Jeff Harbin? He was an attorney back when you were.
I do. Jeff passed away, didn't he?
No, he's down in Florida. He's no longer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he got in a little
Sorry,
trouble.
Jeff.
No, yeah,
Sorry.
don't
Sorry,
kill
Jeff.
him. You can kill his law. You can kill his law practice, but don't kill him. But it was
Sorry,
him.
Jeff, I apologize.
Jeff, Larry Fields, Lois Henry's ex-husband, and Rob Walters, and we were going back to see the Preakness, and we went to Philly and hung out there, and then went down to Baltimore and played the Preakness, and went to this dive bar, and it was Larry's job to go up and get the drinks, and he ordered a salty dog, and this guy straight out of Central Casting with the black T-shirt with no sleeves, big gold medallion around his neck, big poofy Italian haircut, and he goes, and I'm cleaning this up, "What the hell is a salty dog?" And Larry's like, well, it's grapefruit juice and vodka. Well, then why didn't you say grapefruit juice and vodka? Hey, Mikey, we got the greyhounds back there. Any Labrador retrievers? And it's like a big scene, and then Larry came out the second time and was like, "I'll have a vodka and grapefruit juice, please." It's kind of funny.
Well, grapefruit juice and vodka sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's a greyhound. It's a great cocktail.
Well, okay, you have to guess this. The drink that I drank the most of in Virginia.
Yes.
Can you guess what it was? You probably can guess.
In Virginia.
It's like a lady's drink, I think. But I've never had so many in my life.
Tom Collins.
No, it starts out with mint.
You were drinking mint juleps?
Mint juleps. They were serving mint juleps all over the place.
In Virginia? That's more of a Kentucky thing.
And it was rum, fresh lemon juice, and some kind of simple syrup over rice, and they gave it to you in this beautiful, like, pewter cup, and it's like it tasted so good and it looked so pretty. You just keep wanting to have more and more.
How many did you have? Drunk?
That is a top secret. And what happens in Virginia stays in Virginia.
All right, very good, very good.
But it was so much fun. That is just that whole country back there. I mean, the whole part of the country there is so pretty. I kept thinking, I wish we had more trees in Kern County.
I know,
more
the East
trees
Coast.
in Bakersfield.
Yeah, you should have gone down to Maryland, Chesapeake Bay, and just all up in there, and that whole region. I just fell in love.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you know where the South officially starts? That's one of the things that I learned on this trip.
The Mason-Dixon line in Maryland.
Maryland, yes. I didn't know it started in Maryland.
I'm a Southern boy.
South of that. Wow.
No, Maryland. Mason-Dixon.
Apparently some people in Maryland, that's like a big debate. They say, no, it's not. And some people say, yes, it is. But I don't know.
It definitely
is. It?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Well, you know what people are talking about?
I know my East Coast geography.
I know. I'm very impressed, Mr. Bailey. I really am.
Why? Because
I
live there?
People are talking about here?
What are they talking about?
In New York, one of the things that they're talking about
the election today?
No. They're talking about this young man that got killed in Central Park in a horse-drawn carriage. Did you read about that?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's a really big deal, and they're still talking about it. They're going to get rid of all the. I think they're going to get rid of all the horses in Central Park as a result of it.
Yeah, I've seen the video where the horse just takes off and this guy gets flung out of the carriage.
Yeah, so sad. He was this. It happened last Wednesday, and he was this 18-year-old tourist. He was from India, and he was killed when he was visiting with his family. He was with his parents and his brother, and the driver stepped out to take a photo of them, which they do all the time, but I guess you're not supposed to. And then the horse got spooked and bolted. And then I think the carriage clipped another carriage, and he was thrown out. He had a head injury, and then he later died. Isn't that sad?
Wow.
I never heard about that.
Yeah, I just saw the video the other night.
Have you ever been in a horse-drawn carriage in Central Park?
I have not. I have seen it done, though, in the great motion picture Barefoot in the Park.
Yeah,
that's how the film starts. That's how the film starts, with Robert Redford and Jane Fonda driving, they're being horse-drawn to, what's the famous hotel in New York City? The Wall of Astoria. Wall of Astoria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry they're not going to, I think they're going to get rid of them, and somebody's going to get sued, and it's going to be a big deal and all that kind of thing. But, horse-drawn carriages have been around in New York. Actually, did a little bit of research when I read about it for about 200 years. That's how long they've been there in New York.
Also portrayed in the motion picture Pillow Talk with Rock Hudson and Doris Day.
You are so good at all your films.
Doris Day, Rock Hudson has to pretend to be somebody else. So he pretends to be a Texan. And so he takes over the reins from the guy who is the tour guide. And they've got the guy in the back seat, and he's, speaking in his mind, but we can hear it in the movie. And he's like, this guy's not from Texas. Look at the way he's holding the reins. He doesn't know what he's doing. And then it goes back to Rock Hudson, and Rock Hudson's mind is saying, God, I hope this horse knows what he's doing because I have no clue what's going on. It's a really funny movie.
Well, horse-drawn carriages, that's the horses in Central Park is what started the ASPCA, I found out.
Really?
Yep, and the ASPCA was founded in 1866 because of all of the thousands of dead horses that were used in New York City and including in Central Park. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
So many horses died as a result of it. So I feel like this has been my horse trip, I've been to horse museums and seen horse statues and talked to horse statue sculptors and all kinds of things.
And you're in New York City and you're living a horse life.
I'm pretty horsed out right now.
Okay. All right.
It's a lot.
They're not talking about their primary today?
Not too many people, at least not yet. Not that I've talked to, not yet.
Yeah,
But,
we got a pretty big
another socialist on the card today. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I should find out about that.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, people in Brooklyn, they really like Mayor Mamdani. They really like the guy. Seriously. I haven't talked to a single person that doesn't think he's doing a great job.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's how socialism works. And as Margaret Thatcher said, it works until you run out of money, other people's money. So, yeah, for a year, they're going to love the guy. But then after 2 years and 3 years, and all these promises of free stuff doesn't pan out, then it's like, where you been, coach? Well, what's going on? Promises free childcare, promises free buses, promises free education, promises all this nonsense. And now you don't have any way to pay for it. Well, what's up?
Yeah, no free buses yet. And the grocery stores that they started, I know they started a few of them.
Yeah.
Those aren't working either. And
Of course not.
It hasn't even been a year. I still can't figure out how you can have a free grocery store and survive.
Let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you.
Okay.
You can't. You cannot. That's why it doesn't work. I mean, how old is socialism in America? I mean, Dr. King was almost a socialist because he didn't believe that we could rise past a certain level based on where we were before the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Movement and the Civil Rights Act. So he was kind of a socialist. Socialism is not new. It just doesn't work. And it's been tried.
It works anywhere.
It doesn't. And it's been tried how many times? And I'm just talking about in America since the turn of the century. And I'm not talking about 2000, I'm talking about 1900. How many times has it been tried and failed? Many.
Quite a few.
Quite a few.
Well, I have to say, one of the things that people were talking about Mamdani about was he gave a speech when the Knicks won, and there was a big celebration. There was a huge parade in Manhattan. And apparently he gave this really great
parade in Manhattan?
And he was had a lot of charisma, and everybody's going, oh, he's really good. He's really a good speaker. He's a great mayor. And people went nuts here when the Knicks won. You should have seen it, Ralph. It was wild. The streets, all the bars were packed. People were outside the bars in streets, and they were filming. Because everybody was packed, there wasn't enough room in the bars for people to go celebrate. So they were throwing up on the screen. They were using the walls of the buildings across the street and showing the basketball game on the side of the buildings. And people were out. It was insane. And the police were out in the streets, and they were dancing with the people that were watching the game. It was just crazy. It was just crazy here. It was a pretty wild time to be here, but it was fun. I got to say, I would be fun if Bakersfield would do something like that. Have a big, exciting game and let people go out in the street and have fun and show the game on the side of the buildings so everybody could watch it. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I don't think we want to emulate New Yorkers. I'm not. I was not pulling for the Knicks.
It was one time when everybody was together. Everybody was, at least what I saw, everybody was just all kind of on the same side. Everybody's on the same team. Everybody was happy. It wasn't like a lot of bad things happening, and it was fun.
Yeah, because they won. Because they won.
I know.
But had they lost, they would have beaten up San Antonio fans who were wearing San Antonio gear, because that's what they did when they lost the one NBA championship. And I'm not trying to be funny about this. They're despicable human beings. I don't know if you saw the video.
The one I did. I saw that one.
The mobbing and tearing the jerseys off of people and blooding them up. And that's why, because again, as I've told the audience, I was rooting for the Knicks when this started. I used to live in New York. My dad's a Knicks fan. I was rooting for them. And then I saw that video when they lost game 3 or whatever game it was, when they were beating up people just because they were San Antonio fans. And I'm like, no. And just the little just entitled celebrities, Ben Stiller and Chalamet, and just even guys that I like who's the comedian that I like? Did Eddie Murphy? With my hot dogs. Who's that?
Comedian, New York comedian, or just
you? Forget it, Terry. Terry, you'll never get it.
I don't know.
I
don't know. Yeah, I might.
No, you'll never get it. Believe me. You know what I'm talking about, though, Chris. Anyway, even the guys that I like, I don't like New Yorkers.
So does that mean you were absolutely not rooting for the Knicks this time?
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Not at all.
Oh, well, okay. Well, my daughter's, one of her friends showed us this video of somebody who was climbing up a pole. A woman was climbing up a pole, and she was really excited because she's way at the top of the pole. And this other woman climbed up, threw her off the pole, and they got into a big fight while they're climbing up and down, trying to get back up on the pole. Okay.
Yeah,
that's one way to celebrate.
Yeah, you're making my point for me. Who you got, Chris?
Charlie? Is it his brother?
No. He was on Saturday Night Live. He has a show now, I think.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
I should know that.
So what else? What? Give me something outstanding that stood out. Like you saw a celebrity, or you went to the great restaurant, a great meal.
I am just not that into the great restaurants like you are. I just, what I like about this place is when it's time to go eat, we walk downstairs, we turn right, we walk 1 block, we walk another half block, and on this street, there's all kinds of restaurants. And you just walk into whatever restaurant you want, and you eat, and then you walk home. And it takes about 10 minutes to walk there and 10 minutes to walk back. And it's perfect. That's what I like. I think it's fun to be able to walk to dinner. You don't get to do that at home. At least I don't get to do that at home. So that's what, I always say, I feel like I'm on vacation when I'm here, but Barry, my husband, he works when he's here because it's a 2-bedroom place.
Yeah.
We turn the second bedroom into an office. So he actually works the whole time when he's here.
Wow.
So I get to go out and have fun and go do fun things, but he's working. Somebody's got to pay for this place,
Yeah, I guess so. That's funny.
So I checked out, I was for your show today. I did some research to find out what kind of exciting cases were going on in the country today. And to me, I didn't find a single one that was worthy of talking about, other than we're just waiting for the Supreme Court to come down with all these cases that are going to come down in the next 2 weeks. In the next couple of weeks, you and I are going to have a lot of good things to talk about.
Yes.
I think that birthright citizenship case is going to get decided. I think that
that's right. That's right. That's when we go to Luigi's.
That's going to be a big one.
We have a bet on that
one.
We did. We have a bet on that.
Okay. I know.
You think that they're going to side with Trump, and I think it's going to be unanimous against Trump.
Oh, I know. I think you might be right about that.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
Oh yeah. We're going to start with the truffles, and then I'm going to have the salmon. And then a little Butterfinger pie just to wrap up the afternoon. It's going to be great. We'll have fun.
You're just rubbing it in.
Oh, yeah.
So the other case is someone that or that you know of, Lisa Cook. Remember the Fed governor?
Spellman girl.
They're going to be deciding about whether or not he has authority to fire her.
No.
I think he's going to lose on that one.
Yep, he loses.
Are we on the same side on that one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, then there's that. Can't bet on that one. Another one is all the election law and the voting cases, especially the mail-in ballot deadlines and the grace period cases, like how long do they have to count the ballots? I think that's going to be a huge one. And that name of that case is Watson versus Republican National Committee. That is going to affect a lot of future elections.
What state is that out of?
I can't remember. Back east, though. I can't remember what state
So
it is.
they're trying to get rid of mail-in ballots entirely. Tell us in 2 minutes what the case is about.
Well, they're trying to say that any ballot is going to be counted. It has to be counted as of election day. You can't have this week later, like California does, keep on voting like they're doing. So, like what happened to in the Los Angeles mayor's race would not be able to happen again.
Good.
So that is going to be fascinating. That's going to have so many far-reaching effects. I think we're going to hear about that one. And there's a lot of disputes over that case, and there's some other cases that are kind of dangling around it that has to do with disputes about state laws on mail-in ballots, like whether it has to be postmarked versus do they have to actually receive it. And there's also a case on on voter registration rules in states like Arizona, things like that. And so Trump administration, of course, they're arguing for stricter election day limits, but it's definitely going to reshape how votes are counted in all these upcoming elections. I think it's going to affect absentee voters. It's going to influence state elections. It's going to be a big. I think that's a huge case besides the birthright citizenship case.
Well, it's a huge issue, and it's ridiculous that they're receiving ballots a week after Election Day.
I agree. I totally agree. So, are we going to bet on that one, or I think we're
on the same side on that one. Yeah, we're on the same side on that one.
The last big one that's going to happen that I know we're both on the same side on is transgender. Women, transgender people in sports. How it's going to come down on that.
This is all coming down in the next couple of weeks, about a month.
Oh, I think it's going to come down in the next 2 weeks.
Outstanding.
We have so much to talk about, Ralph.
All right, very good, very good. How long are you in New York?
A couple more weeks. So I'll be calling in next week too.
Outstanding. We appreciate that. I really do. Taking out the time. We really do. We missed you.
Well, thank you, Ralph. I miss you guys too.
All right, have fun. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Teresa Golder, quick timeout, headed into the 4. Howard Marcus joins us. Don't forget Cassie Bittle at 5:05.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
From Town Hall, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Senate has approved a war powers resolution to block U.S. military action against Iran. Bob Agnew reports.
The vote came as lawmakers keep a wary watch on President Trump's efforts to resolve the conflict. It was the 10th time the Senate has tried to advance a war powers resolution. This one may have finally succeeded because a growing number of Republicans, both in the House and Senate, have expressed their concerns over the war and the deal the president made to bring it to a close. It also comes as the Pentagon is seeking $80 billion from Congress, largely to rebuild munitions and stockpiles already used up in the war. Bob Agnew reporting.
There are lengthy sentences for those convicted for violence during an immigration center protest in Texas last year.
Former Marine Benjamin Song was convicted of attempted murder last March after prosecutors say he opened fire and wounded a police officer during a protest at the Prairie Land Detention Center in Texas last year. Song has now been sentenced to 100 years in federal prison. 7 other protesters received prison terms ranging from 30 to 70 years. U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor says what happened last July was not a protest, but an assault on democracy, and that the need to deter this type of conduct is high. Critics warn the implications from the case could affect free speech. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The Justice Department has announced criminal charges against 455 people as part of a 2-week healthcare fraud crackdown that officials say involved more than $6.5 billion in false claims submitted to insurers. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 45 points, the Nasdaq dropped 579, the S&P 500 lower by 107. More at townhall.com.
Progressive knows you've got plenty of things to worry about.
What time does the kids' practice end? How long has that check engine light been on? Are takeout containers microwave safe?
So the last thing you should have to worry about is what to do if something unexpected happens on the road. That's why if you're ever in a major accident, Progressive's accident response can detect it and send help. It's just one less thing to worry about.
How long does chicken last in the fridge?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-550-7800. That's 800-550-7800. Call now to find out how much your case could be worth.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states. Not available in California.
Big tech drags down the market.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
What the mayor says about the child who was found in a pond. I'm Chris Davis. That 12-year-old boy was found unresponsive in a pond on Heather Avenue in Cal City last Thursday evening, and Mayor Marquette Hawkins says she believes the child may have been attacked by two unleashed dogs near the golf course at Central Park. Hawkins tells Bakersfield Now that people have been warned about having dogs at the park, and there are signs up. The child died the next morning at Adventist Health in Tehachapi. So far, no one has been held responsible. Charges against 35-year-old Tamara Elsie Popoy have been upgraded after the person that she is accused of hitting early Saturday died Monday afternoon, say Bakersfield police. They say Popoy was driving drunk when she ran a red light and hit a man on a bicycle about 1 Saturday morning at Stockdale Highway and Callaway Drive. Now the charge is gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. Police say she drove away but was caught later. The man's name has not been released. Meanwhile, the California Highway Patrol was busy cracking down on drunk drivers in what was called a maximum enforcement period Saturday night and into Sunday morning. And they say they made 19 arrests on charges of drunk or high driving. They also arrested people on 6 other charges and impounded 22 vehicles during the period from 6 Saturday evening to 6 Sunday morning. Stealing a bicycle is the accusation, and even though it may not seem like a big case for police, that is someone's ride. So Bakersfield PD is asking for tips. That happened on Truxton Avenue just before 9 p.m. May 26th. The person caught on camera is described as a man in his 30s to 40s with a medium build, last seen wearing a blue cap, blue shirt, black pants, and black shoes. Gas is now $5.53 on average across California, reports Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
To the rest of all in a month from now, this Hollywood Big Shot's going to give you what you want. Too late. They start shooting in a week. I'm going to make them an offer he can't refuse.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Tuesday, 23rd day of June. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. We stream live at KERNradio.com, broadcasting live on YouTube. Anything you miss, you can go back on YouTube, just punch in my name and revisit. You missed our conversation with Teresa Golder, about to talk with Howard Marcus. Then coming up in the 5, Cassie Bittle, restaurant owner, planning commissioner, and overall good egg. And we got some other news. We'll talk a little sports. Giannis Antetokounmpo is on his way to Florida, leaving Wisconsin. Caitlin Clark has lost her mojo, and Tiger Woods has been spotted outside of Switzerland where he went to rehab. We'll talk about that, but it is a Tuesday. Sway with me. Sway with me. Sway with me. Sway with me. The dancer let me on the floor. Only you. Only Howard Marcus. God, I love that song.
That's actually one of my favorites.
That is one. That and he's got 3 favorites of mine.
Oh, which are yours?
Everybody Loves Somebody.
Okay.
Amore. And that one.
And I actually enjoy some of his covers too. But Sway's probably, I guess, probably my favorite.
What's that? Sway?
Amore,
Yeah. Amore's pretty good. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie.
Well, it's so Italian.
That's Amore. Always reminds me of Moonstruck now that I've finally seen it.
Oh, yeah, with Cher.
I only saw Moonstruck like a couple
that
months
was like, 30 years ago? No, almost 40 years ago.
And I saw it like a couple months ago.
Okay.
For the first time.
I think she won an Oscar for that.
She did indeed.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I saw it, and I loved it.
Yeah, it's a funny movie.
Couldn't believe that.
Snap out of it, slap.
The what?
When she goes, snap out of it and slaps, the slap.
And Danny Aiello, who I've always loved.
Yeah.
Danny Aiello was in Godfather 2.
What? He must have a small role. I don't remember who he was.
He tries to kill Frankie Five Angels.
Oh, okay.
Remember when he's meeting the guy in the bar, and the killer comes up from behind him and tries to choke him and says, "Michael Corleone says hello."
Oh, that's Danny Aiello.
That's Danny Aiello.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, start. Well, look how long ago that was, too.
I know. 74,
72,
72. 72. Yeah.
You're right. You have to do the Siri thing or whatever you use.
Yeah.
I think it was 72.
Yeah, you're right, because the remake was, the second one was 74. Yeah. You're right. But what do you think of what's going on?
Oh, my God. No, might as well get me started. I pulled up the 14-point, the actual MOU, and looked at it.
Yeah.
And Iran got everything they wanted.
Everything.
We got essentially nothing.
Thank you.
Almost
That's all I've
been
been saying.
Negotiated at a later date. They didn't mention ballistic missiles.
Nope.
Which is silly because they're friendly with Pakistan, who has nukes. So how much is it for Russia, China, or Japan to just hand them a nuke? All it takes is one for Tel Aviv.
Yep.
And the ballistic missiles are what they were sending into Israel with high explosive warheads.
Yep.
If you leave the ballistic missiles, they can still threaten every neighbor with going non-nuclear. And the insanity is saying, well, Saudi Arabia has some, they need to have some, which was a statement to justify it by Trump. And I went, wait a minute, Saudi Arabia isn't using them on anybody. Saudi Arabia's never taken an aggressive stance.
Yeah. And what do you think of the idea that we're going to give them money, but they're going to spend it on food for their people?
Oh, yeah, right. Well, yeah, just as much as the Gaza food doesn't go to Hamas.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have an internal control for the flow of that. We don't have any way of saying where it's going to go. It's not like we're going to set up, bodegas all throughout Iran and fund them. And then I looked at the $300 billion. We're guaranteeing that that fund gets set up. We're not funding it per se, but we're supposed to do the framework.
Yes. It's crazy.
It's insane. And I think, unfortunately, if this wasn't an election year, you'd have a completely different approach. I think they're panicking I don't think it's necessarily Trump himself. I hope at least. I just think everybody around him is going, we're going to lose the midterm. They're like, dude, you've had this for 47 years. You've lost elections before. You've come back from it. Are you worried about a long-term threat, or are you looking at a 2-year issue with an election?
Yeah.
And so you lose the House. Trump, they'll have investigations and stuff, but Trump went through that before with no issues. They're not going to be able to pack the Supreme Court because, honestly, Trump has the veto power over that. You won't have the Republicans agreeing to it. The whole MOU is so fatally flawed. And I think giving them 60 days pushes us into August, which is even closer to November.
Which makes
you're going to start bombing right before the elections.
Not going to happen.
Well,
it's not going to happen.
I think we would negotiate better if we were sitting on Carg Island, and if all the missiles and all the drones and all the speedboats along the coast there at Hormuz were gone, because that's all they've got left for leverage, and we allowed them to keep that stuff.
We should have never stopped the bombing.
No, you don't surrender. You don't have them until it's unconditional surrender. The continued statements by Iran. Now they're saying we didn't agree with this, we didn't agree to that.
Yep.
We make a statement and they contradict it.
Yep.
And part of the problem is internally they're so fractured. They have real hardliners in the IRGC that are negating everything that the guys that are negotiating are saying, but the IRGC really holds the reins of power.
Yeah.
And that's the one you should be listening to. Don't listen to these diplomats and stuff.
Right.
They have no way of enforcing anything internally.
As it's been explained to me, like our government, they have 3 branches essentially.
Right.
They have the figureheads, which are the negotiators.
Right.
Then they have the clerics, and then they have the IRGC. And the IRGC is dominating policy that is carried out by the clerics, and then they put the figureheads out to go out and talk about it, and they agree to something, and then the clerics and the IRGC say, no, that's just not true. That's just not true.
Yeah.
Like they lied about this past weekend, where I thought it was going to be my lead. The fact that they had walked out of the talks.
Right.
And then Pakistan came back and said, that's not true. They didn't walk out. So, I mean, you can't even believe these people.
I don't even understand what's happening because we're not seeing what's behind the scenes. I don't know what our ultimate goal is. It keeps shifting because, for example, with Israel, he blasted Netanyahu in a phone call to stop this immediately. Then 2 weeks later, it goes, Israel has the right to defend itself every time Hezbollah attacks them. Well, which is it?
See?
Because the ceasefire with Hezbollah is not going to stand because there are individual terrorist cells in southern Lebanon. And the supposed agreement, which I just read, is that Lebanon is supposed to, they want the Lebanese army, which is very weak, to reoccupy south of the Litani River, have the Israelis withdraw. Well, when they already did that before the last ceasefire, and what happened was Hezbollah just ignored them.
Yep.
And even when the UN peacekeepers are there, they have footage of which I watched of the Israelis going to houses full of weapons within sight of the UN outposts that were supposed to prevent the rearmament from way back when. So other than the Israeli army, nobody's going to actually hold Hezbollah, their feet to the fire. And what Israel's doing, which isn't an openly stated, they're essentially depopulating South Lebanon Shia villages. They're actually just because you have photos, you see it either Christian or a Sunni village completely marked, and the Shia village next to it within sight is destroyed. And they're forcing those into refugee status because they can't allow them to reoccupy because they're allowing Hezbollah to their homes.
That's why I have said almost every day since Epic Fury has begun, you got to play this straight. You can't say that we're going to get
involved.
We're going to have, unconditional surrender and then walk away giving them money.
I don't get that. Well, I'm a huge Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump guy. I like his policies. We can differ on some stuff, but this has been really frustrating for me because the constant contradiction within the administration, the constant conflicting statements, the constant shifting goals. And if I'm a Trump supporter and I see this, what is the average undecided voter going to think?
Yeah.
Because it's driving me nuts. Because okay, today you say one thing, the next day you completely turn around and go, oh yeah, I can have ballistic missiles. But one of the reasons we specifically went in was they could take out the ballistic missiles, and we did try to take out most of them. So we're saying, oh, now they can have them. And then here's the insane part. In the MOU, while negotiations are going, Iran is allowed to continue enriching uranium.
Yep.
I read that and went, what do you mean?
Under the guise that it's for their residents.
Right, which is,
crazy.
I mean, it's crazy. And
it's delusional.
That was the whole point, that they were enriching. It's a short step from civilian use of uranium to weapon grade. And they had all that in place, the centrifuges and all that. So if you allow them to enrich it, they've done this before when they kicked out the inspectors. In order to reverse that, you have to go physically into Iran or bomb them all over again. So we're going to give them an agreement. They're going to have theoretically our inspectors alongside UN inspectors, the International Atomic Energy Commission. They're going to go in there and they're going to boot them out. Meanwhile, our troops have been redeployed out of the area. Now what do you do?
Yeah. And without American personnel with the IAEA, do you trust them?
No.
Exactly.
They have a history of this. That's just it.
Yep.
If this was something where it was literally Germany in 1945 or Japan, you could say whatever you wanted. They had no choice but to do unconditional surrender. And even then, we did some slight negotiations. If you remember correctly, we let the Japanese have their emperor because apparently they'd all adopt the base rather than give him up.
Right.
And we realized Operation Olympic was going to cost 1 million casualties. So we gave them a little bit there. But Germany was unconditional. There wasn't any deal where you could keep Nazis in power, still build V2s, the equivalent of what's going on now. And the reality of this is that this is a terrible regime, that they're still going to fund their proxies, that, any funds you give them, if you'd be insane to think they're not going to flow it through either cryptocurrency, which is what they've been doing, we caught them doing it, or they're going to fund it with literally just bundles of cash. And the only way to stop them is to eliminate, to cut off all that flow of arms, munitions, and money, which we haven't really done at this point with this agreement. We're going to immediately start giving them money. They go, it's phased based on performance. Well, you're going to give them right off the bat $2 billion. How much does it take to start rearming and building cheap drones?
And they're making millions on oil exports as we speak. As we speak. It's just, to watch Fox and to hear Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld and these Trump sycophants try to sell this as a good deal.
No,
you know, I'm a Trump supporter as well. I voted for him 3 times. I've never voted for Barack Obama. If he ran again in 28, and if I was faced with Josh Shapiro and Pritzker and all these and Newsom, I'd vote for him again. But I would still criticize the way he goes about things, because I think what we now can conclude is what I've said all along. This has been put together haphazardly. They got blind, stinking drunk at their success in Venezuela and thought that this would fall in line just like that. And it hasn't. There's no plan. There's no beginning, middle, or end. I think you're absolutely right that the priority or the goal changes based on what time of day it is.
Yeah,
and you can't run a war like that. I don't know much, but I do know that.
You know, and people were questioning me when we talked about it. I said, look, I'm a supporter. I want a consistent, clear message, and the American voters expect that and deserve it. You cannot continue to do this. And the insanity of me, obviously, is Lebanon's clearly mentioned in there, and Israel's completely left out of the process.
Yeah.
You know, so Canada and the United States had a treaty, and we dictated terms that Mexico had to adhere to and left them out of the process. Everybody else would think that'd be insane. And so Israel has already stated we're not leaving southern Lebanon. We're not bound by this agreement, and they aren't. They shouldn't be. And that's going to be a deal breaker, because Iran has shifted. Their initial statements didn't even mention Lebanon.
No.
They realized, hey, this is a weak point. If we make this part of the MOU and just encourage Hezbollah to continue these daily attacks, we have a way out. Because what's going to Hezbollah attacks, Israel retaliates, and then Iran goes, oh, Israel's breaking the ceasefire.
Right.
They built that into the MOU. Iran did, because it wasn't in the original negotiations. There was no discussion of Lebanon or Israel. It was so Iran, and Lebanon doesn't want Iran. You know, they've actually come out on TV. You've seen these statements made by, I think one of them was the Prime Minister of Lebanon, saying, "You even take your weapons with you."
Yeah.
They don't have the power to compel them. They don't. They're a state within a state.
Hezbollah is Iran. I mean,
it is.
It's synonymous.
There's no fight between them.
No, none whatsoever. And you're right. Benjamin Netanyahu, facing re-election, by the way, is never going to stop hunting down Hezbollah. Never, ever, ever.
They're killing Israelis. He can't. They just lost 5. They just lost 5 Israelis the other day
over the weekend. Yeah,
over the weekend. They can't. When they're as long as, and people don't realize. You and I can sit here in a safe American city and realize that northern Israel has been depopulated. They've had to move everybody out of the area that lived there and worked there, and shut down industries because of constant rocket barrages. 2,000 since April alone.
Yeah.
And if you and I lived, say, downtown LA and looked up every day and saw missiles coming into town every day, and your children had to leave school and go to a bomb shelter, and every time you drove, you had to pull over the side of the road and hide under your car. That's what the Israelis are living under. And Netanyahu and any successful leader after him can't ignore this. It doesn't matter who it is at this point. They can't leave them there. And they still finish with Hamas on top of it, which we forced them into.
Yeah. There's breaking news. The Senate, in a 50-48 vote that included Rand Paul, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Dr. Cassidy, joined Democrats to limit the president's removal of military forces from the conflict with Iran.
It was non-binding, though. It was a resolution of the War Powers Act. Yeah, it's just kind of a warning shot. But Rand Paul is a loon. Collins and Murkowski might as well switch over to Democrats. Rand Paul is real simple. Is the old joke. If Trump's for it, he's against it, and that's just just knee jerk. And I understand there's a lot of hostility between the two. Collins and Murkowski have always been the ones voting against the establishment, and obviously Collins is at risk right now with against going up against a Nazi essentially.
Yeah, he's
going to lose her seat.
She's going to lose that.
I hope not. They had a primary with another declared candidate that planned to endorse, and they lost. I don't know. If they vote this guy in, they're going to get what they deserve. That's the sad part. Just like Mandami, all his policies are failing, and all they can do is rail against the system that he's actually part of now.
Yeah, I talked to a buddy about Mike Davis, who used to work for Maxine Waters. He's still working on K Street in D.C. And I talked to him about the filibuster, and I might be wrong. Mike says he does not think the Democrats are going to get rid of the filibuster for the very same reason Republicans aren't getting rid of it now, because Democrats will fear the inevitable. that one day, with a simple majority, Republicans will be able to run down laws. And Mike says, I don't think they have the votes. I don't think they'll get it. Now, remember, it was a guy from West Virginia who saved the day the last time there was a filibuster vote. Who am I talking about?
One vote difference.
Manchin.
Yeah, Manchin, who was actually essentially he was an old school blue dog Democrat.
Yeah.
Very conservative for Democrat. Is why I just couldn't stand the party anymore.
Mike Davis has forgotten more about politics than I'll ever know, but I see them blowing it up. I really do. If for no other reason, for the Supreme Court.
Well, the thing I haven't researched is that a vote that Trump could, to change anything.
You're breaking up. We didn't hear anything you just said.
Okay, let me back up. I'm on a stupid landline.
Now we got you. Now we got you. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I haven't checked the process. If it's a legislative vote, because Trump will just veto it then. It's not like it's a fait accompli. They'd have to have a veto-proof majority to have it happen, I would think. And I haven't checked.
I haven't either. That's a good question. I will look that up. That's a good question.
Yeah, because if it's anything else, the other law, just like the War Powers Act, Trump's just going to veto it.
Yeah. Well, this won't even get to the president's desk.
Yeah, if it gets to his desk, I don't think it will. I don't know. It's this whole thing. We got a 16th window to see. I'm about 9% confident it's going to fail, and then to see and hopefully we really force Iran into surrender. Not negotiating doesn't work with fanatics.
No.
Their best thing is all they care about is the regime surviving. Anything that is a victory for them.
Absolutely, and they are good negotiators.
Well, they are.
Everybody agrees with that.
Yeah,
and
diplomacy isn't hard to do. When it's just words, diplomacy is pretty easy to do.
Especially when time is on your side.
Yeah, they think it is, and I think it is also.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is.
We wasted a huge opportunity, a 50-year opportunity.
We absolutely did. We had them on the ropes. We should have never let our foot up off their neck. Never.
Yeah, huge mistake.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
I think time will tell, and I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, I am too. I really am. All right, Howard, always good to talk to you. Say hi to Mary. We'll wrap to you next week.
Already got you. Have a good weekend.
All right, you
Wonderful
too.
weather for golf. Supposed to break.
I thought it was going the other way. I thought we were going back to the 3 digits.
Not if in the morning.
Oh, dude, I can't play in the weekdays.
No, I mean the weekend morning.
Oh, is it going to be 90s this weekend?
Well, in the morning it's going like in the 80s.
Yeah, I play in the morning. Yeah, we play at 7 on Sundays and about 9:30. Yeah.
89 on Saturday, 86 on Sunday.
Sweet. I'll get it 36. All right, Howard. We'll see you next week, man. All right, take care. Howard Marcus, quick timeout. Coming right back. Don't go anywhere.
Kern Radio News.
Luigi's. No. You may have done it yesterday. I don't know if I pulled it in.
And Dr. Vip Dev, Stephen doesn't like him, but I think he's really great. We will talk the news quiz with John Cox from the Californian, and we'll back all that up with state-of-the-art news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I gave Liz Merrick one of my gift cards to Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen. You know Liz, Liz, the redheaded bartender and waitress at Casey's Steakhouse. You all know her. You know she's lived here her whole life, and she's 74 years old. And she's not 74 years old, but she's never been to Luigi's. She's never been to Luigi's. And the next time I go, I'll be on the arm of lovely Teresa Goldner because I'm going to win that bet. And again, I'm going to start with the truffles. This is how I go about it. I hopefully want to go on a Thursday when I get the salmon, but the prime rib sandwich is also good. And if we go on a weekend, I get the Monty burger. And then we'll go into the bar and have a cocktail with Julie Escalante. And then I'm going to take Teresa Goldner into the deli, introduce her to Lynette, one of the greatest sommeliers you'll ever want to run into. Maybe have a glass of one of the Italian wines as suggested by Lynette. I'll introduce her to Gino, take her around to the Bailey bar. It'll be a wonderful afternoon after I win that bet. Because where would you rather be than Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show?
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore, and every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Your summer food game is only as strong as what you're working with. This July 4th at Lowe's, get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $50 on a select Pit Boss DX Smart Electric Smoker, now $249. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/24 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
I'm John Busby with Team Busby Real Estate.
And I'm Jonathan Busby with Team Busby Real Estate.
We just wanted to talk with you about what we do as a team. We do a great job for our clients. Some of the things that we do is when we represent sellers, we don't just put the transaction together. We do our homework and we check their FICO score, source of funds, where the money's coming from, and the job stability. Because what we don't want is to get you into an escrow and the escrow falls out because we didn't do our homework.
With any sort of real estate need that you have, we can accommodate, whether it's residential, commercial, land, or multi-units. We have experience in all and can help you to a successful close.
The background that we have is I was a lender for 5 years. And so I learned quite a bit as far as how to keep a transaction together. We don't just put it together and hope that it closes escrow. Nothing's 100%, but we do stack it in your favor.
With any needs or questions with real estate, give us a call at 661-410-7355 or visit our website at www.teambusby.com.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Trump administration is providing $17.5 billion to speed the development of 10 new large nuclear reactors to meet the skyrocketing power demand from massive data centers. The Energy Department announced the loans Tuesday. The Justice Department has announced criminal charges against 455 people as part of a 2-week healthcare fraud crackdown that officials say involved more than $6.5 billion in false claims submitted to insurers. Among those targeted is a nurse practitioner accused in Texas of billing Medicare for medically unnecessary wound care procedures and using the proceeds for fancy jewelry and luxury cars. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 45 points, the NASDAQ dropped 579. More details at srnnews.com.
The following is a real-life story. Current Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN Newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. The man who was riding a bike Saturday morning and who was hit by a car at Stockdale Highway and Callaway Drive has died, say police, and they have upgraded charges against the woman they say was driving drunk when she went through a red light and hit him. 35-year-old Tamara Popoy is now charged with gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. Meanwhile, the Highway Patrol was busy cracking down on drunk drivers in what was called a maximum enforcement period Saturday night and into Sunday morning. They say they made 19 arrests on charges of drunk or high driving. They also arrested people on 6 other charges and impounded 22 vehicles from 6 Saturday evening to 6 Sunday morning. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Dr. Roland Rodriguez.
Hello, this is Bakersfield General Surgeon Dr. Roland Rodriguez, client and friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred a number of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's office, only to receive the most stellar feedback from my doctor friends regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, his long-standing and most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn, continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than to reach out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case, Skyrizi Risankizumab Risa can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. With burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and local service, our promise to the Central Valley remains the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Yeah.
Watched Sinners again last night. It's just not me.
No?
It's just not me. Because I wanted to like Josh Allen's girlfriend.
Haley Steinfeld, yeah. Or wife.
And you know, you get suckered in, even though I saw it before, you know, when she starts making out with Michael Jordan, you know, you want it to like work. And then she starts to eat him.
But see, they do end up together at the end. They end up being vampires together.
Oh, I was like, what you talking about? What movie did I see?
Yeah, no, the only two that survive.
As vampires? Oh, that's right. They come back at the end. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
How did they? Wait, I didn't understand that.
That I don't, yeah.
Because I forgot about that. I forgot about the ending where the guitar player, whose daddy warned him, is now an old man, and he still looks like Mookie Betts. So how are they the only ones that survived?
I can only imagine they just went the route of, well, they weren't in the
sunshine.
Yeah, they weren't in the area when it all happened.
And he comes in with sunglasses on. It's like, okay, all right, Dracula. Sunglasses, really? I don't know. And I don't really like vampire movies. They're normally a little more subtle. You know what I mean? Like I loved the Tom Cruise vampire movie. I loved the Gary Oldman. That one was really good. That one was really good.
Yeah.
That was better than the Cruise one. What other famous vampire movies are there? The Oldman one, though, he was a good vampire.
Interview with the Vampire?
Is that what it was?
No. Gary Oldman's is Dracula, but no,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying another one would be Interview with the Vampire.
Well, who was in that one?
I want to say Brad Pitt.
I thought Pitt was in the Tom Cruise one. Aren't Cruise and
Oh, I'm sorry. We're thinking of the same movie.
Yeah, they're
thinking
in
of the same movie.
They're in the same picture. Yeah. I love devil movies. I just don't like when they win. And for Sinners, they kind of win. Like, you know what movie I've never watched? I've seen it twice and I've never watched it again, and it's a great film. Rosemary's Baby. I cannot watch it. Why do you think I can't watch it? Have you seen it?
Because she embraces the baby.
Yes! The devil wins. The devil wins. I hate to ruin it for you if you've never seen it, but she gets raped. Her husband is a would-be actor, and he's struggling. And unbeknownst to them, they live next door to Lucifer. That's another great devil movie. Angel Heart with Mickey Rourke, where the guy, it's Robert De Niro, and he comes off, his name is Lucifer, and he hires Mickey Rourke as a detective to find Mickey Rourke, essentially. And then at the end of the movie, Mickey Rourke figures it out. He's like, Lucifer. I get it. Lucifer. And in Rosemary's Baby, John Cassavetes and Sinatra's wife at the time, Woody Allen's ex-wife, who am I talking about? Mia Farrow. Mia Farrow, they live next door to the devil and his wife. And so they suck in Cassavetes because he makes the actor who was ahead of Cassavetes in this play go blind. And suddenly Cassavetes gets the role. So he sucks him in, and then they suck her in by giving her some Mickey in her dessert. But unbeknownst to them, she only eats half of it. So when they go to rape her, and there is a rape scene in the film. Remember, this is a Roman Polanski directed film. The devil rapes her, but she didn't eat all of the concoction, so she's like awake. And that is one of the scariest scenes in the world, where they're all naked, Cassavetes, the devil, and all the little devil worshipers, and she's kind of knocked out. And she wakes up, and he's now the devil. He's almost like a werewolf. And he's got red eyes, and she's like, this isn't a dream. This is really happening. But she can't stop it. And he rapes her and impregnates her. And she doesn't really remember it because she did eat half the stuff. And she's like, why am I all scratched up? And Cassavetes tries to play it off. Well, I got a little eager. No, you got raped by the devil is what happened to you. And then she finally figures it out at the end of the film. And they go, hey, look, it's happened. And it's your baby. And the baby is in a black crib. And it's the last scene of the film. And they're like, she's like, no, I'm not gonna raise the devil's child. And they're like, just come look at the baby. And then the movie ends with her like, it is a baby. And it's like, no, Mia, don't kill the baby. What's the matter with you? Take a wooden stake and put it in its heart. Oh, wait, that's vampires. Pour some garlic on it. No, that's vampires too. I don't know what you do with the devil, but kill it. And she's all like, oh, it's my baby. Ugh. Sorry. That's my one act. Thank you very much. Thank you. Should get an Emmy for that performance. Speaking of television, Savannah Guthrie had a rough day today, man. I don't know how she does it. I really don't. Everybody's reporting the story that the February ransom note basically told the family that the mother died and that she was, I think it said something to the effect that she died in the sea or some illusion. And I mean, I think most of us who are able to look at things objectively like that, and I don't mean just strictly journalists, but just very practical people, and those are mostly journalists, can look at something and make a cold, hard decision. But I knew 3 days in that she was dead. You can't abduct an 80-something-year-old woman for any period of time and take her off her meds and go through what she did. And she was clearly bleeding. There was blood at the side of the house. And I knew that, they weren't going to return her. Are you kidding? And I don't know what the plan was. Maybe it was a robbery gone badly. Maybe it was a botched kidnapping and they killed her the first night and just screwed up by accident. Who knows? Who knows? They bumped her on the head, tried to knock her out, and she's 84, and they didn't realize it, and they killed her. And then they didn't know what to do after that and still tried to get some money. But she had to deal with this on the air because the Day Show had to deal with the story. And for her to, well, let's listen in to what she had to say.
Bravery and courage with which you have done this job every day since that happened. Nothing short of remarkable.
Wow.
Nothing short of remarkable.
I love you guys and I love this place, and this is unusual and unprecedented to say the least to be sitting here. But I don't have any comment on this story, and I'm not involved in our coverage. But I can't pretend I'm not here. And so since I am, I wanted to just take the opportunity to ask people to beg people to come forward. Somebody knows something. And this is a news story today that is on your radar, but this is the life that my sister lives, that I live, that my brother lives, that our extended families live, that our children live every day. And we are in agony. We cannot be at peace. So no matter how much I try to come out here every day and smile and find that joy, and I will, I promise I will. This is a moment to tell you that we need your help. We're begging for your help. And I'm not going to miss that opportunity. And so please, if you're watching,
yes,
no matter how small, the reward is there. You can tell us. It can be anonymous. Please do the right thing for us, for our family, for our children. And we love our mom, and we'll never stop looking for her. Never.
It's probably not appropriate for me to criticize at a moment like this, but I have to give my opinion. And I just think if I were the head of the Guthrie family, if I was married to Savannah, I just believe that I would handle it differently. I think at this point, I would grab the family together and I would say, let's have a celebration of life of our mother. And if she's returned somehow, we will celebrate. And if they return her body, we'll have another memorial. But let's face reality. We've lost our mother in one of the most ridiculous, incredible, unbelievable manners. And let's put this behind us. And it's hard for me to say that because I'm not in that position. And I suppose if I hadn't confirmed that my mother was dead, I suppose there would be light in my life that maybe there's a chance that she's alive. But, my mother's 84 years old as well. She depends not only on her medicine, but dialysis. So for me, it wouldn't even be a debate on whether she was alive or not. Because one of us on dialysis, after 2 or 3 weeks, she would not be alive. There's no chance of that. And I don't think there's any chance that Nancy Guthrie's alive. And I think you're only torturing your family and yourself by holding out hope at this point. Maybe that's just a really, really pessimistic, negative attitude to take. And maybe it's easy for me to say that because my mother is sitting comfortably in Los Angeles right now. But this torture, it's as if you're torturing yourself. This blind hope that someday, what is their hope? That someday somebody's just gonna here she is. Go to the Winco on Arizona Avenue and she'll be there. I don't know. And again, I was wrong. We should start doing when Ralph was right when Ralph was wrong, because I was totally wrong. I never thought she'd be back on television. I thought she would take a year hiatus and come back maybe, a couple of months from now. But, this is big corporate business. She's got a gargantuan, I think, $10 million contract. So it's not that easy just to say, we can live without Savannah for 6 months to a year. No. They would have brought in somebody else. She knows that. She's 50-something years old. She's not, young in the tooth. There are a lot of young reporters that are dying to get in that chair. There's not anybody really on the Today Show that could take her. They would never give it to Chanel Jones, who they've now put on at 9 o'clock with Jenna Bush. There's not Dylan Dreyer, who's the fill-in weather guy for Al. I don't think there's anybody on that staff that could rise up. I think they would have to go outside of NBC. Or maybe it could be one of the correspondents. I don't know, because Savannah Guthrie started as the White House correspondent, if you're old enough to remember. And I can't remember who. There are no female. They just lost their White House reporter, Pete, what's his name? He just left. I forget where he went. But I don't think they have any female correspondents, White House correspondents. But I don't know how she does it. I really don't. Cassie Bittle is running 10 minutes late. I'm on my way now. Well, you're not late if it's 4:47. Where are you, in Oxnard?
So I'm thinking in my head, how far is she coming from?
I mean, I can get here from my house, and my house is 150 yards from where she lives.
I feel like she's just
I
saying
get here
like
in
she's
6
going to get
minutes.
here like right on time.
Yeah, if she left right now, she'd be early. If she left right now, she'd get here at before 5 o'clock. You're not on the 5:05, sweetheart. Relax. Unless she's in the kitchen making us food.
I am hungry.
Let's take a break. Cassie Bittle's going to join us at the top of the hour, whether it's at 5:15 or 5 o'clock. It doesn't matter, Cassie. Relax. We got till 6 o'clock. I got nothing going on. I am going to tell you about Joy Reid. I can't wait to play this audio for you. Wait till you hear what this crackpot has to say. We'll do that after the break. Coming up in the 5, Miss Bittle will join us. We'll talk a little sports. The NFL has canceled the supplemental draft. They haven't had one in a couple of years, but they were going out of their way for Mr. Brendan Sorsby. Well, now he's out of luck because he can't go back to Texas Tech, bet on them. And the NFL's like, no, we're not going to bust our ass just for you. I think it was 2019 last time they had a supplemental draft. I believe, was it Montana? There's a famous quarterback that got signed in the supplemental draft.
Warner?
Kurt Warner? Was it Drew Brees? There's some Hall of Fame quarterback that signed in the supplemental draft, and I can't remember why. Oh, well. We'll talk about that. Tiger Woods makes his first public appearance. He's part of the rules committee.
Steve Young.
Steve Young, that's right. It was Steve Young coming out of the USFL. Got drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. See, isn't that crazy about the NFL? If Steve Young stays with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he never wears a yellow jacket. In my opinion. Never. Never. They were horrible. He was the David Carr of the NFL back then. I think he led the league in sacks. And then he goes to San Francisco and he's throwing to Jerry Rice and Hall of Famers, and boom. He's a Hall of Famer. Quick timeout. Not a lot of time for going to the 5. It's TRBS on a Tuesday. Right here on News Talk 96.1, AM 1230, streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk
Messmaker.
1230, KERN.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
Are you concerned about your financial future? Well, unless you've got crazy money, you should be. And you should be picking up the phone and calling 395-9400, 395-9400, the offices of Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. As I've explained, the smartest financial move I've ever made was done about 10 years ago when I got in bed, figuratively speaking, with the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors and Daniel Petrie. And as I've talked about, I've turned on colleagues to Daniel. And as I've said, they could not be happier at the work that Daniel has done for them. So if you're staring retirement dead in the mug, meaning if you're in your 50s, it's time to start thinking about the 17th and 18th hole of your life. Call Daniel today, again, at 395-9400, 395-9400, or just keep it locked. Tune in on Thursdays at 4:30 when Daniel joins us with his political and economic knowledge. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice or a solicitation for advisory services by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Incorporated, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. The program host is a client and receives compensation and other financial benefits in connection with this advertisement, creating a conflict of interest. Experiences discussed may not be representative of other clients.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9069. 800-525-9069. 800-525-9069.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you.
We don't have a lot of time for it at the top of the hour. I just want to play this audio real quick for you guys. This is Joy Reid, who I don't understand how she ever rose to the national level. I really don't. And I think there's a lot. I didn't send it to you? Then I've got it. And I think there's a lot that goes into getting on a national level. Like, I mean, I never really wanted, I did when I was young. And then when I got in my 30s and I actually got into television, there was an opportunity to maybe try to go to Los Angeles, to go to a bigger market. It just didn't interest me. When I was in television, and you're going to think I'm stupid. I'm not saying this proudly. I'm just stating facts. I never sent out a tape. I never even made a tape, which, let's face it, these young kids, despite their contract, and despite what Derek Jeffries may think and what James Galindo may think, they're making tapes right now. They might have a 3-year contract. They might be in the first year of their 3-year contract. But believe me, they're putting some of their best stuff that they do. When they go out and they do something really good and they feel like they had a nice live shot, they're putting it on tape. I never did that. I was a freaking idiot. And yet I got 4 job offers. I got a job offer from a guy who was visiting here, going to a wedding with his wife's family, and saw me anchoring the news and offered me a job in Tyler, Texas. I got another headhunter that offered me a job in Jacksonville. I got offered a job in Lincoln. I just wasn't going to live. I visited Jackson. I never went to Lincoln. I went to Jacksonville. I went to Tyler. And it were just communities that I didn't want to live in. And I was on an anchor track. And in Tyler, they were going to make me the 5 o'clock anchor. And then I was going to be the 6 o'clock live guy and the 11 o'clock live guy. And I almost took that. I really liked the GM who flew me out and hung out with me for a couple of days. But I don't know. I just had no desire to get on a national level. And how Joy Reid got there, I don't understand. I understand how she got whacked, but check this out.
Hang
on. Joy Reid.
Because in many ways, and with apologies to my dear spicy white friends, because I know that my white brothers and sisters do love a 4th of July. It is Independence Day. Everybody's barbecuing. It's a thing. I can promise you, Black folks, we will take that day off. We will barbecue because we off. But Black people, that nobody Black I know is really excited about the 4th of July because it is what Frederick Douglass said it is. It is the celebration of slaveholders who freed themselves from having to pay taxes to the crown for their slave empire. And that is what it is. I mean,
that, first of all, and this is why it caught my attention and it angers me because she's talking about one of my relatives. That's right. I'm a descendant of Frederick Douglass. That's what my daddy told me. And as I've talked about, maybe my first week at Morehouse, we get assigned in my first English class to read Frederick Douglass. I had never read Frederick Douglass in high school. And I literally, my first month at Morehouse, and on the 3rd page, he alludes to, go read his autobiography, that his real surname is Bailey. And I had heard this my whole life. And I'm sitting in Atlanta and I'm like, was Pop telling the truth? I thought that was like the Gladys Knight thing that my mom says, because my mom swears we're related to Gladys Knight. I thought that was another one of those stories. But it says right there, Bailey. So I'm a descendant of Frederick Douglass, and that's a complete lie. That's completely taken out of context as to what Frederick Douglass said, and he certainly wasn't alluding to the 20th century. A 19th century man was not alluding to the future. And for this woman to speak for me, I didn't get a vote to vote Joy King of all Blacks. Any Black folks out there, did y'all get a ballot to vote Joy Reid, King of all Blacks, where she can speak for me and say that I'm not looking to celebrate the 250th anniversary of a great nation that has given me incredible opportunities to be the only African-American talk show host in the history of this county, in the history of Kern County. That's what America has done for me. So don't speak for me, Joy Reid, you kooky, crazy broad you.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN. 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
From Town Hall, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Justice Department is cracking down on healthcare fraud. Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche announced hundreds of arrests in a multi-billion-dollar effort.
These individuals participated in healthcare fraud schemes involving over $6.5 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other healthcare programs.
Among those charged is a nurse practitioner accused in Texas of billing Medicare for medically unnecessary wound care procedures and using the proceeds for fancy jewelry and luxury cars. Prosecutors say a mental health company owner targeted the homeless by billing for crisis stabilization services they did not need. President Trump is discussing the impact of his tax agenda while speaking in Pennsylvania. Willie Nelson reports from the White House.
President Trump is pointing to tax relief as a major benefit of his economic agenda.
We delivered no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great Pennsylvania seniors. And our tax cuts are projected to boost take-home pay for Pennsylvanians by an average of more than $10,000 a year per household. Think of that.
The president says the tax cuts should give Republicans a major boost heading into the midterms. Willie Nelson, the White House.
In the first of several primary runoff results this evening, Alan Wilson has won the Republican nomination for governor in South Carolina. He defeated Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette. Both have been endorsed by President Trump. Governor Henry McMaster is term limited. A rough day on Wall Street with the Dow down by 45 points. The Nasdaq plunged 579. The S&P 500 dropped 107. More at townhall.com.
Did you really think Pure Talk was just going to sit back and watch America turn 250 years old without doing something awesome to celebrate? Of course not. That's why they're raising $250,000 for America's Warrior Partnership by the end of July. America's Warrior Partnership is on the front line of preventing veteran suicide. They've had extraordinary success, and here's how you can help. When you switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk this month, you'll be invited to round up to support America's Warrior Partnership. No pressure, but if you do, Pure Talk will match your donation dollar for dollar. And to further celebrate 250 years of our extraordinary democratic republic, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. That's pound 250, say Mike Rowe. And happy birthday to us.
U.S. corporations are one step closer.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
What the mayor says about the child who was found in a pond. I'm Chris Davis. That 12-year-old boy was found unresponsive in a pond on Heather Avenue in Cal City last Thursday evening, and Mayor Marquette Hawkins says she believes the child may have been attacked by two unleashed dogs near the golf course at Central Park. Hawkins tells Bakersfield Now that people have been warned about having dogs at the park, and there are signs up. The child died the next morning at Adventist Health in Tehachapi. So far, no one has been held responsible. Charges against 35-year-old Tamara Elsie Popoy have been upgraded after the person that she is accused of hitting early Saturday died Monday afternoon, say Bakersfield police. They say Popoy was driving drunk when she ran a red light and hit a man on a bicycle about 1 Saturday morning at Stockdale Highway and Callaway Drive. Now the charge is gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. Police say she drove away but was caught later. The man's name has not been released. Meanwhile, the California Highway Patrol was busy cracking down on drunk drivers in what was called a maximum enforcement period Saturday night and into Sunday morning. And they say they made 19 arrests on charges of drunk or high driving. They also arrested people on 6 other charges and impounded 22 vehicles during the period from 6 Saturday evening to 6 Sunday morning. Stealing a bicycle is the accusation, and even though it may not seem like a big case for police, that is someone's ride. So Bakersfield PD is asking for tips. That happened on Truxton Avenue just before 9 p.m. May 26th. The person caught on camera is described as a man in his 30s to 40s with a medium build, last seen wearing a blue cap, blue shirt, black pants, and black shoes. Gas is now $5.53 on average across California, reports Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Welcome to the rest well in a month from now, this Hollywood Big Shot's going to give you what you want. Too late. They start shooting in a week. I'm going to make them an offer again with you.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Tuesday, 23rd day of June. We still got lots to do. We're going to talk a little sports. As I mentioned, the NFL has canceled the supplemental draft, which has ruined the future for Brandon Sorsby, who thought he was going to enter after the Big 12 was going to fight him to play at Texas Tech. So now that they pull the rug from out under him, he can't go back to Texas Tech. He can't be a part of this draft, so he's got to sit out a whole year and wait until 2027. We'll talk about that. Tiger Woods makes his first appearance since coming out of rehab. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is headed to Florida, We'll get into that, but as those that are watching on YouTube can tell, the lovely and talented restaurant owner and planning commissioner, Cassie Bittle, live in studio. How are you, young Miss Bittle?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you for having me yet again, Mr. Bailey.
Looking lovely, and we're wearing stock. Are you wearing stockings?
I always wear
I'm wearing
stockings.
stockings.
That is a rule at Casey's
I
Steakhouse.
have never seen you in stockings.
Every day. Every single day. Oh, yes. That's a rule at Casey's. Everybody has to wear. That's a health department rule, actually. If you're going to have a skirt or a dress on, you must have undergarments. So stockings are a must.
Even the hostess / owner?
You have to lead by example. I don't ask them to do what I'm not willing to do myself. So in 106-degree weather, I'm not exactly the most comfortable, but my legs always look good.
Wow, you do have sexy legs there, Cass. I've never even noticed that. Oh, look at you.
Thank you.
So what's really going on?
Oh, what isn't going on? It has been a hectic couple weeks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, restaurant's good, employees are good, community is sound. But yes, I do have some big announcements to make to your listeners.
The floor is yours.
You know, the Ralph Bailey Show has been the place that I go to for everything. It doesn't matter if it's a political issue, if it's with homelessness, if it's the newest dessert or your favorite soup. This is my favorite place to come. And your listeners have supported us through the last, how long have we been sponsoring the show? 8 years?
Longer than
that.
Like
I think longer than that.
10, 11 years. Yeah.
Your listeners have shown us so much love through the years, and I wouldn't want to tell the community any other way than on the Ralph Bailey Show. So I am very excited to announce that I am planning to run for Ward 3 City Council.
Yay! Yes!
It has been a battle back and forth in my mind, whether it's an ego thing, and, do I feel like I need it?
Celebrate good time. Come on. Let's get
Celebrating will be when we win the race.
Oh, please.
In the meantime, it is stressful.
If you win.
I am all for sitting at tables. I am willing to discuss, the issues and find solutions and meet with people. But when it comes to campaigning, this is a whole new realm for me. And so it's going to be an interesting couple months to kind of get a taste of my own medicine.
Well, you're a natural at it. All you're doing is what you do every single night in the restaurant.
Yeah, yes.
Greeting people.
And
the only difference is you're not talking about them. You're talking about you and what your plans are and how you think you can change the community. That's the only difference.
Well, I've had several lists of pros and cons, and it's always scary to be in the public eye and to receive the backlash that you do for making decisions others don't want to make. But at the end of the day, it's also supposed to be a hospitable seat too. So, I mean, if I could bring my knowledge from the restaurant industry into this seat, I would love to be able to make Bakersfield feel warm, welcoming, inviting, clean, all of those things that I expect out of my business, we should expect from our city as well.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to be able to make change from the seat, hoping to gain the seat with the love from the Ward 3 voters. So it's going to be some door knocking. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'm excited for it this summer.
Yeah, it is something that I've suggested you do for years. And the only advice I could give you would be to remember this is your campaign. This is your life. And you're going to get a lot of suggestions from professionals and from others. And I just hope that you will stay true to who you are.
I think
there's advice that you should take in terms of the mechanics of politics. But in terms of what you want to do, maybe I shouldn't say this, but listen to you. Listen to your heart. Listen to people that love you. Because some of these professionals, and I'm not going to name any names, and I'm not even speaking specifically about anybody, but many of these professionals are hired guns, essentially. That's what they do. And many of them have multiple clients. And it's sometimes hard to delineate who they are actually performing for. Are they performing for their former client or this client or that client or your client or you or boop, boop? And that's why at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you've got to go on what Cassie Bittle believes in your heart, what you speak with Mark and your mother and your dad and your brothers and your family. That's who you should rely on, not the professionals. They'll give you the technical things. They'll do the things that you can't do, planning signs and suggesting where you should walk and who you should talk to. But in terms of the direction of what you want to do and what your agenda is going to be, that's got to come from you.
Exactly.
And don't take any advice from anybody on that. If they tell you how to vote or what your priority should be, you say, I got it. I got it. I'm a local businesswoman and I know this community. I've lived and been raised here. I got it. That's all I would say.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that's why I've yelled and screamed to the public, please get involved in our local politics. Get involved in our city council meetings. If you see something in your area, make sure you show up to the planning commission meetings, because that's where the real work is done within our community. And I've been able to be on the sidelines for the last 8 years, learning who in each part of this city is. And what I've realized is it's the voices of the community members that make the most impact. And that's one thing that even in any chair or any role, you never lose sight of, is that you're a community member as well. And this is where I live. This is where I want to stay for the rest of my life. My business has been in Bakersfield since 1939, and I hope to keep it successful through the next 20, 30, 40 years that I'm able to continue running that business, and the city as well. If the city's successful, I'm successful. And if the city's successful, our community's successful. So it's so important that the people that take these seats keep exactly what you were saying in their hearts. It is not a career move. It's not a position to take to get to the next position. It's where our hearts are, and it's where our families hopefully are going to grow up. So I think that through the last 8 years, through a pandemic and a homeless crisis and everything, I've tried to stay true to myself in every single aspect. And there's been backlash for it, pushing for things that maybe weren't so favorable to the larger community was a little bit hard, but it's something that I've been able to do. So I don't see any change in that. And if you've met my mother, and 20 years farther than I am.
met your mother?
Exactly.
Gone crazy?
You can't change her mind, and you can't change my mind. When I know something is true in the way that it needs to be done, I will do everything I can to get it finished.
Yeah, that's outstanding. It really, really is. The real question is, why were you reluctant? Because as you know, I've been pushing this for at least 24 months.
It wasn't really seeking advice, but I always take advice. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for people like Les Clark and Mojibi and Paul Sturgeon, those that have given me so much wisdom from the mistakes they've made, the successes they've had. I've been able to learn a lot from them, but I took the time in the last couple of weeks to really write down every person that has helped me along the way in every single way. And I've called them, and I've sought their approval. Do you think this is something that I'm ready for? And it wasn't necessarily that I didn't have the confidence for it. It's just I wanted to make sure that I knew what this position was going to take. And so I gave myself some time to really think about it. I had a good friend tell me to take some paper and write down the pros and cons and really weigh it out. Because when you step into public service, your family steps into public service. My employees do, my business does. And one thing this town really likes to do is tear each other apart. Even if they're doing the best that they can and they make one mistake, it's like we hang on to that last thing. So it's very nerve-wracking. It really is. And so I felt a little bit selfish for taking the time to make the decision. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's my decision. And I need to make sure that I'm sound when I make that decision. And I'm sound. I'm ready for it.
I was pushing you to announce early because I think I know a little bit about politics myself. And it's kind of like poker. Like there are times you'll get a great hand on the flop, okay? You get 3 kings. You have 2 kings in your hand and a king comes up on the flop. And there are those that like to play it slow and sucker them in and get guys to bet, because if you bet too big early, they'll run. So a lot of guys kind of like to play it slow. But if you do that, you could screw around with that guy that's got 3-5 and he gets the 4 on the river and he hits a straight and your 3 kings are out the back door. As crazy as an analogy as I'm trying to make is, with name recognition like yours, if you get in early, everybody scatters. Because if I'm Ralph Bailey and I see, I'm going to get my papers, and I see, wait a minute, Cassie Bittle, owner-operator of Casey Steakhouse, is running? I ain't running against Cassie Bittle. Let me think about this. I'll be right back, clerk. I'll think about this for a bit. I think you would have squared off everybody. But now that you waited a little bit longer than I think you should have, and that's here nor there, now the folks are already in, and as you stated, I don't think they're going anywhere.
I would like the voters to be able to have an opportunity to have other decisions as well. I've worked as hard as I have to have the name recognition, not to have the name recognition, to make sure the work gets done. Because that's one thing that I've learned in my business, and what I do is, if you want the work done, you have to do it right alongside everybody. So I welcome, competition. I'm not one for it. I don't like to compete, but at the end of the day, the voters make the final decision, and they deserve to be able to have more people in the race. So if somebody else feels that they can do a better job than I am, then I would love to be able to hear from them and learn from them. And if the voters decide that they're the best candidate, then I have a lot to learn too. But I'm not fearful of competition. So I would like the voters to really get active in this next election.
And
It's important.
Yeah. Cassie Bittle is our guest, owner operator of Casey Steakhouse. She's announcing that she's running for Ward 3 city council seat. The other advantage that you have that you should accentuate and let them know about, hey, I'm a business owner. I ain't going anywhere. I don't want to go to Sacramento.
No.
I got to be in that restaurant 5 nights a week, 6 nights a week. I'm not going anywhere. I want to be a city council member. I want to help this community. This is not a jumping off point like it is for so many city council members. I'm staying here to look over my 80-year-old restaurant.
And that's exactly why I'm running. You know, I've heard this several times from the wise people in Casey's. It's time that we have someone that signs the front of the check, not the back of the check. Where you have to actually understand that those funds have to come in and you can't spend frivolously when you don't have it. So I hope to be able to take my small business knowledge to a larger scale, because at the end of the day, they're just zeros, but they're zeros that belong in the pockets of the taxpayers. So I've learned that from Ken Ware through the years. He's been the most fiscally responsible council member that we've had. And
I agree.
He looks through the budget and he makes sure things that fit into the city's budget, but also in the taxpayer's ability to pay. So
as an accountant,
yes.
Looking at the numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the numbers are very important, but the numbers are also very important to how our community works and where they go. So there's certain things like MLK Park. That's a very important upgrade to a very disadvantaged area. And there's wonderful families that live over there. There's certain things that I'm favorable for and that money needs to be spent, but it needs to be spent in the right ways.
Yeah, I agree. Well, this is exciting news. I know the community is excited. I know my listeners are excited. This is going to be fun to watch you win this seat and see what you can do with it, because I don't think it's going to be even close. Again, it just amazes me that we live literally 200 yards from one another and we're in different wards. That's crazy.
But that also involves public input too. I went to those city council meetings when we were redrawing the lines. So it's important that everybody puts their 2 cents in. The city had a wonderful little map online where you could draw in where you thought it was better. And so you can really look at it and look at the city and the demographics, and they ask different groups to put their input in. And it does make sense, you know, at the end of the day when we redraw the lines.
Yeah, I guess so.
The line's got to go somewhere.
Have you taken out your papers?
No, so that doesn't happen until July 13th, I think, 13th or 15th.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit early. I wasn't expecting to have to get out there so early. I wasn't expecting any of this, honestly. You know, I kind of thought about it the last time when Ken ran for assembly. So it's going to be a lot, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready.
You are ready. You are definitely ready. This is your time. This is your era. This is for young people. It's time for the older folk like me to get out of the way and let the new generation of 30-somethings and 40-somethings come in and run the city. One of the problems that we have is that we got a bunch of old folks that are still thinking in the 20th century in key positions. It's time that we get some younger folks in there. I'm excited for you. I really am. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Okay.
Cassie Bittle, everybody.
Thank you, Ralph.
Love you,
See us
girlie.
at Casey Steakhouse. We're open tonight until 10:30. Got live music Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's all I got.
Huh?
So that's all I got.
At the Stockyard.
Oh yeah. Then we got Lottie Da on Saturday night as well. So swing
Love
on
her.
by. Thank
Absolutely
you, thank
love
you.
her.
Oh, we've got a wonderful family. I love Casey Steakhouse.
Yes, you do.
Everybody is just it's a well-oiled machine, just like
It
the
is.
city needs to be.
Sure, Rick Bentley gave you rave reviews.
Oh yeah. He was
Loved the
such a
girls,
nice
and
man.
he had a pork chop that he fell in love with.
Everybody that you send in loves the place. So that's why we love the Ralph Bailey Show. You send us the best customers.
Cassie Bittle, the next city councilman in Ward 3.
I hope so.
Quick time out. It's the Ralph Bailey Show, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, and we're streaming live at KernRadio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we will talk a little medicine with our friend Dr. Bittle. Stephen doesn't like him, but I think he's really great. We will talk the news quiz with John Cox from the Californian, and we'll back all that up with state-of-the-art news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
You know, cybersecurity is a tremendous issue in the 21st century. We've talked about this with Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne, owner-operators of Adaptive Networks, the IT company that Kern Radio Studios are powered by. And why did we get in bed with the folks at Adaptive Networks? Because of their reliability and their quick service. Again, as I've talked about repeatedly, we're a radio station. We absolutely depend on our IT. We can't have somebody say, well, we'll be there tomorrow. We'll be there on Monday. No. We need them here today. And that's why we've turned to the folks at Adaptive Networks, as you should as well. And again, as I talked about, cybersecurity is number one issue when it comes to IT. I've told you about the academic absolute hostage of their information. Well, Adaptive Networks can stave that off. And if they don't, they can retrieve your information without a ransom. Call the folks at Adaptive Networks today at 661-241-0638. That's 241-0638. Or hit them online at adaptive-net.com.
And we're back. California Fruit Depot.
Yes.
Rob and Bob here.
Rob and Bob.
Advertising for California Fruit Depot. We've told you in the past.
Yes.
If you want to go, Google them.
Yeah.
Go out to Red Bank Road. They've got free lemons,
Exit 119.
citrus, dates, date shakes, smoothies,
Free
lemonades.
parking.
So moving on.
Next topic.
California Fruit Depot has hired us, and now they are going to sponsor us. Our triumphant return back to the airwaves of Bakersfield.
Oh, nice. Yes.
You folks asked
We knew
for
it was coming. Thank you so much.
We're coming back.
Due to popular demand.
Our award-winning show will
Yep.
soon be gracing the airwaves of one of these stations.
The
And
Marconi, was it Emmy? Well, Peabody.
I think it was a
A
Marconi.
Pulitzer.
Yes.
One of those.
One of those awards we were almost nominated for. So we're going to be back on the air.
Yep. Back on the air.
Sponsored by Cal Fruit Depot, home
Thank you.
of the Navel Orange,
And
orange
free-
juice,
all the lemons you can eat.
and free lemons. Again, come
Pick
back out and get the free lemons.
Yep.
Google us at calfruitdepot.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph.
We're getting community people, business people, people that have no desire to go to Sacramento or Washington, D.C. or any other place but Bakersfield, that want to concentrate on simply making their community better. And I don't think, I really don't think, I think there may be of those, seven council members. I think there are truly maybe, including Ken Weir, maybe two, maybe three Bashirtash. I'll throw Core in there. But beyond that, I don't see anybody that is truly invested in this community. Andre Gonzalez is a professional politician. Eric Arias, I believe, wants to be a professional politician. I don't know what Bob Smith is. I think Bob Smith is there to grease the wheels on some of his businesses and some of his business friends. I have no idea what his priorities are. I don't know what's going on with Larry. I know we've met him, we've talked with him, but that's the kind of guy we need, a local guy who is dedicated to this community that has no political desires and just wants to be on the city council. Now, if we want to make it a political position, then we need to make it a full-time job and change the charter and get a strong mayor and let them run the show. But you do understand that this community, and it's why we suck right now as a city, it's run by Christian Clay, who is a hand-me-down from a community where he tried to be the city manager, and they didn't want him. They didn't want him. It would be like the assistant city manager here trying to go to Stockton after not getting the job here, and then Stockton says, well, we'll take him. That's what we did. We took a hand-me-down from a community that didn't want a guy that worked there. And so it's him and staff, a bunch of Arizona State, USC, 25 to 35-year-old youngsters who tell these seven dwarfs what to say and do, and they rubber stamp it and move along. And let me get the hell out of here because I got to be in front of 17 in my blue suit. 23 is right outside. I got to go talk to them. I rubber stamp. Yeah, whatever staff says, I'm gone. My blue suit. See you later. I got to talk to 17. I got to be on TV because I have no desire to help this community. I want to be a politician. And to be a politician, you got to start on the school board and maybe the city council, and you move your way up, and that's how you be a politician. Do you help the community? I just don't think so. I just don't think so. And I have dear friends that are friends with Andre Gonzalez. I have one friend that is hawking a commercial for him. She went to high school with him. And we argue about Mr. Gonzalez all the time. And I tell her, I like Andre. I can dislike what you do. A lot of people dislike what I do, but they like me as a person. Well, that's not true. But I mean, you can like somebody and just not like their job or not like the job performance that they have. And I just don't think that Andre Gonzalez is concentrated on this community. I just don't believe that in my heart. And it's just heartwarming to see somebody like Cassie Bittle, who is all about this community and bleeds for this community and just wants it to be better. She's on Jim Wheeler's board dealing with the homelessness. She's on the planning commission. And I'm telling you, if you live in Ward 3 and you don't vote for Cassie Bittle, you done lost your ever-loving mind. Your ever-loving mind. Because there's not a harder worker. I'll tell you what. If you're not sure whether you should vote for Cassie Bittle, this is what I would suggest you do. Literally, go have dinner at Casey's Steakhouse. Go have dinner at Casey's Steakhouse. And there'll be a diminutive little girl in her mid-30s running around the restaurant, picking up dishes, serving drinks, bringing out dinners, running around, welcoming people. Just see the work ethic of Cassie Bittle.
With us for the news, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. In South Carolina this evening, State Attorney General Alan Wilson won the Republican nomination for governor after President Donald Trump, who initially endorsed Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette for the job, said on Friday that either contender would be a good pick. In New York this evening, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani is looking to shape the city's congressional delegation through a series of endorsements, including in districts 10, 13, and 7. Meanwhile, several Democrats are seeking the party nomination in District 12, including Trump critic George Conway and Kennedy family scion Jack Schlossberger. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 45 points, the NASDAQ dropped 579, the S&P 500 lower by 107. This is SRN News.
Healthcare has become frustrating. Turn radio. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. The 12-year-old boy who was found unresponsive in a pond Thursday evening on Heather Avenue in Cal City and who died early the next morning, was attacked by two unleashed dogs near the golf course at Central Park, says Mayor Marquette Hawkins, talking to Bakersfield Now. She says there are no dogs allowed signs at the park. The person who was on a bicycle when they were hit by a woman Bakersfield police say was driving drunk Saturday morning died Monday afternoon, say police. The driver, 35-year-old Tamara Popoy, is now charged with gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. The wreck was at the intersection of Stockdale Highway and Callaway Drive about 1 o'clock that morning. Police say Popoy ran a red light and hit the person, then took off, but was later found and arrested. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Hey, this is Terry Maxwell. You know, one thing I've never enjoyed is painting. It takes time, patience, and real skill to do it right. That's why when it comes to painting my home or business, I trust the professionals at Howling Painting. Howling Painting is family owned and operated right here in Kern County and has proudly served our community since 1978. They were even voted Best of Bakersfield, Best Painting Company in 2025 and 2026. Whether it's residential or commercial, interior or exterior, Howling Painting delivers top quality work at competitive prices. Their team is dedicated to exceptional service and results that exceed expectations. And they don't consider the job finished until you're completely satisfied. Plus, they're fully licensed and insured, so you can feel confident your property is in good hands from the start to the finish. Get a free, no obligation consultation today at Howling Painting. That's HALLING.com or call 872-0988. Howling Painting, quality works you can trust.
Look, folks, you already know that your garage door is a very important part of your home, from the overall look of the place to the safety and security it provides. So obviously, you should only trust the service, repair, and maintenance of your garage door to the pros at King Door Company. Their skill and product knowledge are unmatched in the industry, and that's no accident. The techs at King Door are rigorously trained at the King Door Academy. That's right. King Door has an in-house training facility to make sure your job is done right on the first try. They're trained in all the latest equipment, tools, and techniques. They even learn how to listen to customer concerns through role-playing exercises. And you'll see how well all this training works when they show up right on time in fully stocked service trucks with all the parts and equipment to service or repair any garage door. Like I said, your garage door is a very important part of your home, so leave it to the pros at King Door Company. Schedule your appointment today at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, the company with the pride of a lion. Hey, folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
This information. There's no way, man. No way. I bet no Randy on this one. The NBA draft is underway. The kid from BYU went first. Everybody knew that. But now we're trying to figure out.
No, he's staying in Memphis.
Yeah, he's wrong.
Yeah.
So Boozer went to Memphis.
Yeah.
All right. Randizzle got it wrong. Misinformation being applied. 842-537-6842 KERN. What do you got on the board? Let me check the chat room. Discussions have picked up. I haven't seen what area is. Hang on. Read something while I try to read this, Chris.
This first one just says a rum mint julep, Virginia's twist on the original.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that. Because the real mint julep has whiskey in it. Because it's Kentucky. It's bourbon. It's bourbon, as a matter of fact. It's not whiskey. It's bourbon. Because it's the Kentucky. It's what they serve at the Kentucky Derby. I didn't want to argue with her, but I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. A mint julep in Virginia? With rum? You know, that was my collegiate drink. I once drank 14 rum and cokes at Bennigan's Tavern one night. Yeah. It was a record at the time. What are people talking about in the chat room? Hola, hope everyone is having a great day. Same to you. Says Stella, what area is encompassed with Area 3? Does Stella mean Ward 3? It's
I believe
mostly
so.
it's mostly downtown, Stella. Like I said, I live like 200 yards down the street from Cassie, and I'm in Ward 2. So Ward 3, I think, is everything north of where I am, north of 24th Street and east of 24th Street, I believe, but don't go by me. Never mind, I just looked it up. Okay, very good. Anthony is, I am in, when can I get my yard sign? Just go to Casey's Steakhouse. I'm sure she's, yeah, go see Cassie. She seems nice and dedicated. I've got my glasses on my head. She seems nice and dedicated. Did eat at her restaurant once. $36 piece of chicken was enough. Jesus Christ. I hate you people sometimes. I really do. Like, the cost of living is Cassie Bittle's fault. Good God almighty. If you don't want to go to a nice restaurant, stay home. Go to McDonald's. People complaining about the, God, I hate you people. I really do. There are just times where I can't stand you people. Really. It's a 5-star steakhouse and you're complaining about the prices. If you can't afford a restaurant, don't go out. I hate people that go to a restaurant and are going to complain about the food or complain about the price. If you can't afford it, don't go out. Some of the best restaurants in this town are very expensive. Luigi's isn't cheap. People go and nobody complains. Nobody complains. You know what I'm saying? We got cheap sons of guns that she seems nice, but whatever. What does that have to do with whether she's going to be a good city council member? You think she dictates the price of food in the 21st century? What do you got on the board? I don't even know why I read that. You know, I'm stopped. I guess just JR engage with these people. He turns the music, the commercials down and engages with the audience. I'm done with you. I don't want to talk to y'all. What do you got?
What we got out of the Iran deal is a trust me, bro deal.
With the biggest exporter of terrorism. Trust me, bro. What did Vance and the Ayatollah spit in their hands and shake? You know what I'm saying? It's the word of the week. The word of the week. Delusional. Delusional. What else?
Let's see. When are we going to realize the whole point of this war was for oil? Like I tell people, never trust an Israeli or an Arab. They're your best interest at heart, but their own.
You don't have to finish that. That's just an anti-Semitic bigot that doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And once again, my hatred is there you have it. Say, how can you say that, Ralph? I don't hate all of you, obviously, but people like that, and this guy that's complaining about the price of food at Casey's Steakhouse, and this guy telling him not to trust Israelis. What am I supposed to like these people? Am I supposed to say, yeah, it's really classy of you to bring up the price of food at Cassie's restaurant, and it's really nice that you don't trust Israelis. That's really good. Yeah, I'm all in favor of that. No, I hate it. And you're an anti-Semite. You're a bigot. You probably, I don't even know what you're doing watching a black guy or listening to a black guy because you're obviously narrow-minded, myopic, and bigoted. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, to not trust the Israelis. Should we be leery of their leader? Should we be leery of Benjamin Netanyahu? Damn Skippy. Can we disagree with Israel? Yes. But to make a blanket statement like that Israelis just have their own interests, you know how old those anti-Semitic generalizations are? They control all the banks too, right? They all think about money and all. You know, I've heard these tropes my whole life. I went to high school with Jews my whole life from 6th grade to graduation. And I lived hearing that kind of nonsense out of stupid, bigoted, small-minded idiots like yourself. In fact, you're banned from listening to my radio show. You cannot listen to the show anymore. So stop it. Go listen to somebody else. Or listen in the mornings. There's a guy in the morning who love you. Listen in the mornings. Don't listen in the afternoons anymore. You're banned. What else you got?
Let's see. So what are you saying, Ralph, is you could have been somebody?
I am somebody. I'm Ralph Bailey, former print reporter, former TV anchor, and the single only African-American radio talk show host in the history of Kern County. I'm not sure how old Kern County is, but they ain't never had a brother like me. I'm sorry. I just laughed at my own narcissism. Can't believe I just said that on the radio. But anyway, because I meant to say they never had a brother. But then I threw in the like me because I, got a big head and kind of like myself a little bit, just a little bit. Anything else that's just not trying to make trouble? I don't mind the trouble ones. Just go ahead and read. Who cares?
If Trump charges anyone for putting their hands on the reflection pool, that person should demand a jury trial, and Trump's lawyers have to prove Trump's allegations of this nonsense. Trump hired a crappy contractor who happens to be his neighbor with no bid contract.
Finally, an intelligent text message. I'm so glad you brought that up because do I have audio of this, Chris? Or do I have it?
No, well, kind of both. I have one. I think you have one.
You've got some reflection pool audio. This is Donald Trump with his side of the story of what's going wrong with the reflection pool.
Are the contractors who did the initial work for the reflecting pool, are they to blame for the current condition, or is it
vandalism? No, vandals. We have 100, and we have I think 290, 300 foot slit right through it, probably a box cutter or a knife of some kind. Or we had people lifting up the basic, some of the, it's not a lot of damage, but we'll probably have to let the water out and refix it. They went in there with a knife. I was just told by the people over at Parks, they have 5 people are arrested and 5 people are under investigation right now. And it's a sad thing. In addition to that, we put brand new, beautiful grass all around. They put these massive letters on the grass. You probably know about that, right? And they said 8647. They probably got that from the dirty cop, Comey. You know he's a dirty cop, don't you? Dirty cop. He's a crooked guy. They destroyed the grass. So that's a big thing. But we're going to get it back very soon.
National Guard and police have been all over the mall. How would these vandals have gotten so close to do something?
Great question.
Do you have any proof of
I mean, we didn't have a lot of them then. Who would think that somebody would go into a pool and take a knife and start cutting it?
Nobody would do that.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. When you have a 350, I think it's 350, not 250, a 350 foot slit
250
from one end to the other, you think that's proof? You think that's proof?
The boys have been down there today looking for that slit that you mentioned.
Well, all you'd have to do is see the Parks Department. They'll show it to you. Or see the secretary. But I saw it. They cut it. They cut it very violently. The same thing with the floor. They cut it. And then they lifted it. They pulled it. And that's what it is.
Does anybody believe that? Does anybody believe that? I've been to the reflecting pool at least a dozen times. And the idea that anybody could get in there and just walk up and down with a knife cutting the bottom of the reflecting pool is insane. And there's no video. It doesn't exist. He's lying yet again. And among the arrests that they made, I'm so glad that the caller texted in with this. Do you know who was amongst the vandals that they rounded up? A 67-year-old 3-time Olympian. He's a canoer in the Olympics, but he was riding his bike. And I was going to get the audio, but I had a lot of audio already, so I didn't want to bother Chris. But he's 67 years old. He did an interview today on the Today Show, and he said, I was riding around the reflecting pool, and I saw one of the pieces floating, and I picked it up. That's all I did. I didn't tear it out. It was floating, and I just picked it up. And a National Guardsman came and picked me up and put me in cuffs. 67-year-old man, 3-time Olympian. Do you really honestly believe that he was trying to vandalize the reflecting pool? I'm telling you, Uncle Fluffy. DT is going the route of Uncle Fluffy. He really is. For the first time in 12 years, or not quite 12 years, I'm beginning to worry about this guy. I had some audio, maybe I will play it, where S.E. Cupp, who is a very famous and beautiful reporter in D.C., read one of Trump's midnight rants. And it's amazing. I'm not going to play it all for you because it's really, really long, but it makes you wonder what's going on with this guy. What is going on with Donald Trump? Here it is. Listen to this.
Emergency, did you see this? Oh my God. The president's lost his mind. I know this is small, so guess what? I'm going to treat you to a dramatic reading of this batshit crazy post that he just did. Ready? I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon, because they have one thing in common: low IQs. They're stupid people. They know it. Their families know it. And everyone else knows it too. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did. They've all been thrown off television, lost their shows, and aren't even invited on TV because nobody cares about them. They're nut jobs, troublemakers, and will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. Now they think they get some clicks because they have third-rate podcasts, but nobody's talking about them, and their views are the opposite of MAGA, or I wouldn't have won the presidential election in a landslide. MAGA agrees with me and just gave CNN a 100% approval rating of Trump. Not hand-flailing fools like Tucker Carlson, who couldn't even finish college. He was a broken man when he got fired from Fox, and he's never been the same. Perhaps he should see a good psychiatrist. Or Megyn Kelly, who nastily asked me the now famous only Rosie O'Donnell question. Or crazy Candace Owens, who accuses the highly respected First Lady of France of being a man when she is not, and will hopefully win lots of money in the ongoing lawsuit. Actually, to me, the First Lady of France is a far more beautiful woman than Candace. In fact, it's not even close. Or bankrupt Alex Jones, who says some of the dumbest things and lost his entire fortune, as he should have, for his horrendous attack on the families of the Sandy Hook shooting victims, ridiculously claiming it was a hoax. These so-called pundits are losers, and they always will be. Now, fake news CNN, the failing New York Times, and all of the other radical left news organizations are hailing them and giving them positive press for the first time in their lives. They're not MAGA, they're losers, just trying to latch onto MAGA. As president, I could get them on my side anytime I want to, but when they call, I don't return their calls because I'm too busy on world and country affairs. And after a few times, they go nasty, just like Marjorie Taylor Brown. But I no longer care about that stuff. I only care about doing right for our country. MAGA is about winning and strength in not allowing Iran to have nuclear weapons. MAGA is about making America great again, and these people have no idea how to do that. But I do, because the United States is now the hottest country anywhere in the world. President Donald J. Trump.
If Barack Obama or Joe Biden read that, y'all would be calling for the 25th Amendment. When I heard this a couple of nights ago, I wasn't going to play it. But now in conjunction with this lie that he's created, that the pool has been ripped apart by vandals, they're arresting 67-year-old former Olympians. I'm starting to worry about this man. I really, really am. And I don't mean this politically because there's too much at stake for this man to be losing it. And is that in connection to this MOU and this absurd deal that even the staunchest supporters of Donald Trump, like Howard Marcus, has to concede this is a disaster? This is a win for Iran. So excuse me if I am scared to death that perhaps at 80, he's starting to go the Uncle Fluffy way. He's much sharper than Joe Biden. I'm not trying to make a comparison. Just you can hear that in answering questions. He's still alert. But to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning and write something like that Candace Owens or Alex Jones or Tucker Carlson is on your radar as the leader of the free world, that would be like me responding to text messages that I get. or responding to somebody in the chat room who says something stupid. That's crazy. I'd say something on the show, but I wouldn't go home tonight and write something on Facebook. Hey, this guy says don't trust Israelis. It doesn't matter. You're not on my radar. But these people are on the president's radar, the leader of as we're in the midst of a war, facing the midterms, and he's got time at 2, 3 in the morning to write about Candace Owens, Alex Jones, and Tucker Carlson. Let's go ahead and take our final break. Keep it locked. Scott Jennings at the top of the hour. Tomorrow is a Wednesday. Come Thursday, Manav Shah will join us. Local BCC pro who qualified for the United States Open, shot a very, very respectable 73-74. Missed the cut by 3 strokes. Made birdie on his 52nd hole and walked off Shinnecock Hills with a smile on his face. He's a great kid. And I think he's going to be back at Pebble Beach next year when the U.S. Open returns to California. We'll talk with him on Thursday. But in the meantime, again, keep it locked. Scott Jennings at the top of the hour. Not a lot of time. When we come back, we'll wrap this thing up. Get the Sam Hill out of here. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1, AM 1230, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh. Ready? 3, 2. I'm sorry. I've got to call a spade or a liar a liar. I don't believe the president. Flat out. Nobody took a knife and tore up the reflecting pool. Have you gone crazy with the National Guard? It's just, and the people that are getting arrested, one was a 67-year-old Olympic athlete who simply picked up a piece of tile off the floor. God damn it. 3, 2. I'm sorry. I just don't believe the president. I don't believe that somebody took a box cutter or a knife and put a 300-foot hole in the reflecting pool. I don't buy it. And the people they're arresting includes a 67-year-old former Olympian who was simply picking up one of the chip paint that came up off the floor. It's crazy. We got nothing tomorrow. Van Alstyne's are gone. Howard's not here. Oh, we'll talk about the draft. What else is going on?
New York vote or
the primary.
election?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Not that I'm paying attention to it, but at least we can tease it. 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. Well, we'll preview 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. Well, we'll go over the first round of the NBA draft. Plus, I totally forgot what you told me.
New York election.
And the New York election as well. 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. Well, we'll go through round 1 of the NBA draft. Plus, huge New York primaries. Are the socialists going to take over New York? All that plus me at 3. It's TRBS right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. I'll see you at 3. Jesus Christ.
Subaru and its retailers are partnering with local hospitals and treatment centers to provide warm blankets and messages of hope to remind patients they're not alone. Donate to Blood Cancer United online and in June, and Subaru will match donations up to $100,000.
Learn more at Subaru.com/care.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Jesus! Exciting! Exciting! Let's read a couple of text messages, and I'm walking over to Coconut Joe's. I tell you, I went to what's that store that JR goes to that I used to go to that I don't go to anymore? That's right over there by Lawson's. Starts with a B. Brick House, Bright House,
Five Below,
Bridgestone, Firestone. What is it called? Bridge something, Bridge.
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Well, anyway, it's a great store, but it's always a long line. I got in there. That's where I got my glasses. I got 3 sets of these for $9. Just saying. Well, what do you got?
That parasite that complained about the prices at Casey Steakhouse doesn't realize that the people who frequent that place also freely donate to feed the hungry and pay lots of taxes.
Thank you. Thank you. See, I don't hate all of you. Just a couple of y'all. Thank you. It's just tacky. If you don't like the restaurant, then don't eat there. If you don't like the food, don't eat there. If you don't like the prices, go to McDonald's. I don't know where you're going to get an entree in the 21st century for and that's not true. I don't know what piece of chicken you got for $36. Because if you had ordered the Ralph Bailey, I believe it's $24. So I don't even know what you're talking about. I should have even challenged him on his facts because I get the chicken just about every time I'm in there, and they charge me $24. I don't know what they're charging you. One more, I'm headed home.
That's actually all we got right now.
All right, very good. Good way to end the broadcast. Very nice text. I appreciate you getting Cassie's back. I want to thank Cassie Bittle. She made her official announcement. She has officially thrown her hat into the ring. Also, our good friend Howard Marcus. And a particular shout out to Teresa Golder calling us on her vacation from the entire other side of the continent. Tomorrow we'll talk about the NBA draft. We'll go over tonight's New York primary and whatever else happens before 3:05. But in the meantime, I am outie 5,000. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on, and I'll rap to you tomorrow.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, Batesville, Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
From Town Hall, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Trump administration announced they're going after healthcare fraud in a big way. They say they've found some $6.5 billion in fraud and waste. U.S. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz says one case of fraud resulted in a young man's death.
The EKG was taken. His parents were told he was fine. The doctor, we believe, from the moment he got the image to say he was fine was 11 seconds.
Love you.
The
Love
parents
most of
who
you.
had been marketed to, claiming that the kid might be at
Love
risk,
most of you.
were therefore told the kid was fine, when in fact nothing had been done. The October EKG was read as normal. The kid was dead a month later.
The Justice Department has announced criminal charges against 455 people as part of a 2-week healthcare fraud crackdown. Why is the paint peeling off of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool? Experts try to explain.
President Donald Trump ordered the pool's renovation in April, and that order included painting its floor and walls blue. Yet within weeks of the work's completion, photographs and videos of floating chunks of a cerulean